is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you've never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
All right, everybody, welcome to another, or rather, perhaps the first ever episode of the Fanatics Collect Premier Auction Ending Watch Party here on the Sports Cards Live YouTube channel. My name is Jeremy Lee. It is July the 18th, 2024, and this is going to be a fun show tonight, everybody. Welcome. This is, as I mentioned, it is no longer PWCC. It is now Fanatics Collect. You'll see the branding all over their website. You'll see it on the app, which I have to say is a lot better than it was. I'm really impressed with it. I hope you all are too. But let's get into it. Let's bring out our co-host, none other than Mr. Adam Gray. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm good, man. It's good to be with you and excited to cover this auction with you again this month. Very, very hyped for the new name. And like you, I like the new app. I'm excited for it.
Me too. I've been it's so much easier to navigate. Kudos to the Fanatics Collect team, the developers there. I'm really impressed by it. And I'm just excited. I'm just excited. Want to let everybody know as well. A couple of sort of opening announcement types. If you'll notice on the ticker right now, there are a few users, a few members who are having issues logging to their account. There is a way, a workaround. Read the ticker below. I've also pinned a comment to the top of the YouTube chat that will direct you to that link directly, and you can hopefully take care of your issues. There's also an email address if you need to that you can reach out to in the event that those links don't work for you. But in any event, hopefully most people are logged in. And yeah, Adam, this is it's kind of neat. We've been doing these shows now for well over 3 years. And this is the first time that it's the Fanatics Collect. So I'm excited for it. We got some great items up for bid tonight. We've already got some of you guys out there in the chat. So welcome, everybody. And finally, there is a Sports Cards Live affiliate link. It is also in the YouTube chat right now. If you click that before you make a bid, I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, it will help Fanatics Collect know that you guys are watching and enjoying the show. I'm going to put that in the chat one more time right now, and probably a couple more times as we go through things. Adam, it's been a month since we were here. You call this the best day of the month. It's so much fun. Is there anything in particular, any cards in particular tonight that you are very excited for?
Well, it's funny. You mentioned that it might be one of the lowest dollar ones of the night, but it's the first printing plate that we've ever seen, I believe, on the premiere show. And for me, that's probably the card. If we can call a plate a card, I'm not sure if that's what we should say, but that's the item of the night that I'm most excited for. Is a very unique and different Michael Jordan, or technically a Chicago Bulls team card. So I'm excited to see that one. But look, there's so many other things. The 4 Willie Mays big cards that are on there. I want to do a would you rather on that one today with you. I want to see which of the 4 you would like most, and which ones the people in the chat would like most as well.
I'm excited. And, you do your top 10 carousel posts for the Premier Auction, and you did it this time. And you had that printing plate, which does have what I referred to as a cameo by Michael Jordan, because it's not really a Michael Jordan card. It's more of a Bulls championship card, I believe. It features 4 or 5 Bulls on it. And, amongst the Jordan collectors that I talked to, we've been debating, is it truly a Jordan card? At the end of the day, it probably doesn't even matter. People want cards with Michael Jordan on them. But then there's the other question. Is it a card? Is a printing plate truly a card? That's we could have a lengthy discussion on that. And I think that it really is going to be up to you, the collector, to decide, do you think that is a card, or is it a printing, or is it a plate? Is a plate a card? We certainly know that a card cannot be a printing plate, but can a printing plate be a card. I don't know if that makes sense going in each direction, but let's take a look at it, Adam. Let's take a look. I'm going to scroll all the way down here. I believe it was the last card featured, the last item among the last items in the here. Let's just bring up the screen. Here we go, guys. Here's all the items. We have it sorted by featured items as we sit right now. Our other options are highest price, lowest price, best value, recently added, oldest to newest, and where the bids are, the most recent bids or the oldest bids, the last card to get a bid. That might, most recent bids, oldest first, Adam, that's a sort I've never considered, but it might be a sort that can point you to a few items that might be overlooked in the auction. I've never really considered that, but I think it is worth saying out loud, and maybe some people will take a look at it that way. But we're not going to go that way. We are going to go by featured items here. 71 items in the auction, couple Jordans across the top, along with a Black Lotus. But I do want to find that printing plate that we were just talking about, because it was the topic of lots of discussion amongst collectors. Is it truly a card? Or is a printing plate not a card? And again, is it a Michael Jordan card or a Michael Jordan item? Here it is right here. Let's open this up, guys. Let's open this up. Actually, we're going to go right into it and see it, because the video, and I want to show you guys what happens here. When you open up the page listings or the items listing page right now, you see the front of the card right there. Obviously, there's the back of the item. And then there's the video. And the video, although there's no picture of the item behind this little play icon, the videos are there, you guys. And I want to show the video on this one because I think it's really going to help to feature what this thing is. It is the cyan plate. And yeah, it looks on the front, it looks shinier than it does in a flat scan, Adam. It actually looks a lot nicer like this than it does in a simple scan. But can you see the players very well? I kind of look at printing plates to be a little bit gimmicky personally, but does that mean they're not collectible? Absolutely not. It really
So let me jump in. The reason why I put this is, number one, because that's what you led with, right? I have this top 10 that I do for every PWCC Premier, or the first time I've said it tonight, Fanatics Collect Premier. And I put this Jordan 1. The list is based on which cards I like most. So why is this card on here? Well, the first thing that you've got to know is that Stadium Club in 1997 created this 72 win Bulls team card. And that was significant because at the time it was the most games that a team had ever won in a season, ever. No team had ever even won 70. Before that, it was the 74 or 73 Lakers that had won, 72 Lakers that had won 69 games. So this Bulls team was a historic team. And so Stadium Club made this special card, and Topps Chrome actually made a card with the same image that has a refractor that's worth thousands of dollars in a gem mint grade. And that same year was the very first year that we ever saw printing plates. Now, I'm going to agree with you completely. Printing plates today matter a lot less than they did when they started to come out. But I remember when they started to come out, because they were some of the very first one-of-one cards that came out of packs. Now, this card, ironically, is not labeled one-of-one. Most plates since this first year are labeled one-of-one, but it's very simple. You're right. You look at it, you have to squint to see it first, what's on the front. And then when you turn it over on the back, you can look, and if you know the card, you can look at it even on the front, and you can see Jordan's face there. You can see the champion trophy, and you can sort of make out Rodman to his right, and then Pippen and Ron Harper. Or actually, I see. Yeah, I can't even remember which one's which, but you got Rodman.
That's Pippen right there. You got Rodman right there. There's MJ.
Right. There's MJ. And there's Ron Harper.
Is that Rodman there? Those lips look like Rodman's lips. Maybe that's Rodman over there.
So if you pull up the card itself, you'll look at it and you'll go, oh, I see what this was. But the plate was used to make the four plates. Each of the four colors were used to make the card. And when they first started coming out, I'm telling you, because I was there, it was really cool. But now that we've gotten 20 something years down the road, it's like, they're not cool anymore and who cares about them. But still, the first ones were really rare. They're some of the only Jordan cards or cards that feature Jordan from his playing days that there's only one of. So when I looked through the whole auction and I said to myself, which thing appeals to me most, it was this, which I feel really weird saying, because I know some people are looking at it going, why do you like that? It's the age-old question of like, does it look cool or is it significant? But me, I'm a significance collector. I love stuff that I feel like is really important. And I looked at this and I said, I can't believe that's at auction. I think that's a huge card. And so that's why it's such a big deal in my eyes.
And that makes sense to me. It is a unique item. There's no doubt about it. It looks great. It looks like so much brighter and yellower in the video. And it's not even the yellow plate. It's the cyan plate.
It's the cyan plate, yeah.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I want to add that I forgot to add is we've identified that there's a ton of plates, but there are not very many Jordan plates because they started coming out in 97, and that was his last technically active year. And then the next year he has some cards too, but Upper Deck didn't really do plates, right? It was just Upper Deck started in like 2003 or 2002 with Exquisite. So you really only have something like, I don't know, I'm thinking off the top of my head here, I think like 12 total plates, like both of the stadium clubs and the Chicago team card that have Jordan plates in them. And that's why we don't ever see them, right? Like I can't ever remember one ever coming up for auction before. So anyway, I'll stop talking about the plate, but that's, again,
let's ask. I'm curious to hear from the chat. We've already heard from Mike Nunya, and I appreciate that. Mike, other people in the chat, what do you think of printing plates? I'm curious. Do you collect them? Do you like them? Do you consider them cards? Let's hear what you think. In the meantime, while we hope to get a few comments from you, let's go to the top and let's start running through some of the other items in the auction. Before we do that, though, I do want to say hello to a few people who have joined us. Michael Hathaway, I call him the crystal ball. He's with us. Good evening, Mr. Hathaway. Great to see you. He says, first, Fanatics Collect Premier. It's a big night for sure. Jason Newman, good evening. Welcome to the show. Jeff Hart is here. What's up, Jeff? Gennady, please do say hello at the National. Look forward to seeing you there. Jeff Hart says, plates are not my jam. Mike Nunya, I've never been into plates myself. I think I have a few around here somewhere. There's tons of them out there now, but back then, as Adam was saying, much rarer. Daniel Brown says, I personally would never buy a printing plate. I don't see it as a card. That's kind of my thoughts, but that's, again, the beauty of the hobby. We can all like and collect different things, and some people want everything that has their player on it, and I completely understand that. Jacob Dahl, welcome as always. Adam, we have the Black Lotus. We see this every so often, a nice BGS 9.5, but let's get to the sports cards. That's what we are all about here. And we have two Jordans in the top row here, everybody. We have a 2003. That is the first year of Exquisite limited logos out of 75. And we also have a PSA 10 86 Fleer rookie card. Let's open these cards up, take a look at them. That's a small picture. So I'm going to do it. I think we have to do it maybe a little bit different now here. So we're going to open up the link to the listing first, so we can, and then let's open this image up. There's a good big image right there. Look at that beauty. Look at that patch. Gorgeous 3-color. You got the angle, you got the stitching, you got the mesh, you've got what appears to be a stunning autograph, right? Adam, that's a great auto. Absolutely gorgeous autograph, numbered 16/75. Nice picture of MJ right there. BGS 9 with 295s, which is very, very nice. Autograph is grading out of 10. So we have that card. And Adam, before you jump in, let's take a look at the rookie card as well, the 86 Fleer MJ rookie. And I love looking at these things. Yeah, this is a nice copy. The centering looks to be like, is that perfect centering on an MJ 86 Fleer? It just might be. The only thing I see wrong with it, and I mean the only thing that I can see right now, I wonder if you guys know what I'm looking at.
I did.
Right over here, a little print dot right there beside the mesh of the basketball net. Otherwise, this thing, now, does this have eye appeal? No eye appeal rating. I wonder if there's no eye appeal on this card because of that. And I don't know that that's enough to negate eye appeal. Adam, what do you think? This to me looks like a top end copy.
Yeah, so the spot being in the flat color makes it stand out. You and I both noticed it, but you look at the rest of the card. I mean, that's such a small speck, it's like something you go, is that even on the card? Everything else screams, this is just about as good a copy as you could hope for.
An amazing copy, currently at 160 plus buyer's premium, takes it to 192, a nice price for that card at this time. But Adam, I really want to hear your thoughts on the Exquisite, which just got a bid up to 60,000 now. Let's find where there it is. There's the image. Tell us your thoughts on this, because this is a really nice card.
So this is a card that other people have sort of talked me into recognizing as iconic. This isn't a card that I would have described as iconic. There's only 75 of them. It's the only variation, but it's the very first year of the Exquisite, as we know, and the very first year of giant autograph patches, right? Before this, you have some autograph jerseys, but for Jordan, if you want the very first big time autograph patch, like jumbo autograph patch, this is really it. So I love the card. I love 03 Exquisite. I think everybody does, but to get it with that autograph and that patch and that grade makes it probably a top 25 to 30% of the run. It's a fairly nice copy. There are some 9.5s of this card as well, but that patch is pretty strong. The autograph's really strong. The autograph's been really well preserved. Pretty much has everything going for it that you want. And the question that I would ask is, which cards from 03 Exquisite do you think of as like more recognizable? This might be the most recognizable one from the brand.
Yeah, for Michael Jordan at least. And the other thing you mentioned, there might be some 9.5s out there, and I say kind of who cares? My thoughts on that is I care because I would want to go look at them and then compare them to this one. 9 to 9.5. You do have two subgrade 9.5s on this anyway, so it's kind of half a 9.5 if you look at it that way. To me, I'm going to look at the other 9.5s, I air quote better copies, and I'm going to compare the patches on those and the autographs. And if this is a nicer patch and this autograph is at least as nice as those, I'd rather get this at perhaps a discount because it's a 9 and not a 9.5. To me, that's smart shopping right there. So great card. And again, a wonderful rookie. And guys, we have 12 minutes until all access extended bidding begins. So please keep that in mind. Back to the plate discussion. Jason Newman said I would collect it if it was from an iconic card that I resonate with, like a LeBron 2012 Prism or a Kobe 08 Chrome Refractor. That makes a lot of sense to me, Jason. I like that. And to me, this card tonight is sort of like that, even though, it's not an MJ card in particular, but it's an early MJ appearance. And I think that is pretty important right there. Papa Jim says, good evening and congratulations on the Fanatics Collect Premier. Thank you on behalf of Adam and myself. And of course, Fanatics for getting the rebrand rolled out, and congrats to them on that for sure. Gennady says, I'm not familiar with Exquisite, but since it's not from playing years, doesn't make it less important. Not to me, Gennady. I think to me, playing years is something that is a pretty new concept in the hobby. I've been in this hobby over 40 years, and I never even heard that term until like the pandemic. So to me, you can't get a playing days Michael Jordan autograph patch. And I think that's an important distinction as well right there. Okay, next row, you guys. Adam, we've got a 1980 Rickey Henderson rookie in PSA 10 condition. We're going to open up the link to that. We got the SGC3 52 Topps Mickey Mantle. So let's open up these images, take a look at these cards. And the Henderson, this is one of the first baseball cards I ever bought as a single and not out of a pack. Adam, as a single and not out of a pack. And I love the Henderson rookie. I've got paintings behind me of important cards, and I'm going to want to get a Rickey Henderson painting done. Ziri has joined the chat. Ziri, welcome to the show. And yes, I believe there are 3 hockey cards in the auction tonight, but there is a link to the Premier auction. It is above in the chat. I'm going to put it back into the chat right now, which should help you and others if you would like go straight to the auction, the Fanatics Collect Premier. I'm going to paste it into the chat right now. And just to be completely transparent, it is an affiliate link that I've put in there. So please note that. But check it out, Ziri, and welcome to the show. Jeff Hart loves the Ricky Henderson. First card he ever got graded at PSA. And Dan Brown says to me, playing days matters for nostalgia. Yeah, I mean, sure. I hear that. Okay, beautiful Ricky Henderson, Adam. An SGC3 52 tops Mickey Mantle. This is the Type 2. If you know what that is, great. There's a lot of different little subtle differences between Type 1 and 2s. Hard to notice for the most part. But Adam, this is actually a pretty nice looking 3 as far as centering goes. Color is good. It definitely has corner issues, corner wear. It does appear uniform. A little bit of surface wear up here, I would say. But otherwise, we might have to look at the back of this one too. What's going on the back of this card? Is anything wrong there? Maybe a little bit of staining, but I really think this is a nice copy. It is off center more on the back. You do have some staining coming down the side here and on the left side as well, but actually not a bad overall SGC3. There it is. Adam, anything you'd like? Oh, 100 grand on the Henderson right now, 44 on the Mantle. Adam, anything you'd like to mention on these two vintage baseball cards before we head to this modern?
I think it's really fun to look at mantles and to sort of like evaluate how you feel it fits amongst other mantles. We've seen so many 1s, 1.5s, and 2s move. Seen a lot of big time creases. We see a lot that are really off centered. I would say this one's better than maybe 65% of the ones we've seen. Seriously, like it's a really nice copy. Top to bottom is often, like you said, it's more pronounced on the back, but like I just think the color on that one's really nice, and I think it looks better than the vast majority. Again, I know I'm not saying it's perfect, but most of them aren't. So for what it is, I think it's great. And then the Henderson, I always mention this whenever we see a Henderson, which is not often, and that is that if you look at all of the 100 most graded cards in the history of PSA. It's the #1 card as far as like difficult to gem. It's got the very lowest gem rate of any. That includes the Rice, that includes any of them. The 100 most graded cards. It's the most difficult. Like, what is it? Pop 17, pop 19, something like that. Just super low.
Now, if the Wayne Gretzky was in there, that would be that, because there's only 2 gems That's for right. that. But it's not. So I guess the Gretzky rookie is not among the most graded, and you might, from the perspective that it is probably the #1 most card, the #1 most submitted card to PSA from the whole country of Canada. I'm surprised it's not in the top 10, but maybe that's I shouldn't be.
Even top 100. I'll do some research. I'll tell you where it is compared to the other ones. I'll see if I can find that by the end of the show.
All right. Good stuff. Great cards right there. We have a 2017 Bowman Chrome Red Refractor, Ronald Acuna Jr. This is numbered at a 5. Only 5 copies exist. Let's just clean up our tabs here, guys. Only 5 copies of this card do exist. This is a BGS 9.5, and it's a True Gem Plus. You are getting 10 centering on this copy. All 3 other subgrades are 9.5. And that autograph, I say it a lot. Topps and Bowman do a great job with the ink looking really good on their cards, and this autograph looks really good to me as well. Slightly streaky down here, but overall a really nice copy. Great looking card right there. We're at $27,000. And I just remembered, Adam, you said that you think that this Mantle might be, in the top 35%. That would be eye appeal worthy, or no, 30% is eye appeal worthy. So it might just miss eye appeal if you are correct.
So just to be clear, what I mean is amongst all Mantles we've seen, not amongst 3s, which is what the eye appeal is for.
Okay.
So that's a little bit that's different, but
that's a different measure.
Yeah, it's not a normal Mantle. It's a really, really nice Mantle is what I was getting at.
Yeah, for sure. Look at this. We have another Magic Black Lotus BGS 9 at $30,000 right now. We have a 2020 Flawless Platinum Tyrese Halliburton rookie patch auto, 1 of 1. We're going to go into this and make the picture of it bigger. Let's go and have a look at this, because this has this is a beautiful card. It's a color match on the auto, that's for sure. Maybe not the uniform, but I do like this bluish toned foil. And this is a neat patch. I don't know what this SACRA or part of a Sacramento, of course. What am I talking about? Sacramento, 1 of 1 right there. Decent auto right there. BGS 9.5 autograph is graded out as a 10. And Adam, tell us about the Haliburton before we switch sports back to football.
Yeah, so here's the really interesting part about Haliburton. He is on the short list of maybe 5 to 8 guys as far as future face of the NBA type guys. He's amazing. Remember, Indiana went all the way to the finals in the in-season tournament, and then they had such a good showing in the playoffs as well, right? They had an unbelievable season. They went to the conference finals in the playoffs. So Haliburton had this great year, right? And this is the vertical flawless RPA, the thing that we always talk about, something that's really gotten a huge bump over the course of the last couple of years because it's game used. We all agree it's gorgeous. Every time Jeremy and I look at it together, we're like, oh man, I love this card. I love this card. The one downside here, and you have to call it out because it is what it is that he doesn't play for Sacramento anymore. And people are not going to really remember him as a King, right? And that patch is really front and center Sacramento. Like you said, it's there and it is what it is. I personally look at that and go, okay, Tyrese Haliburton's best cards are all going to be in a King uniform. They just are. His rookies are in a King uniform, whether I like it or not. It's the flawless vertical 1 of 1 RPA. And so I think with time, people are going to get over that, just like they did with Durant being in a Sonics uniform, right? Rather than with an Oklahoma City Thunder uniform. It's just a question of how good Haliburton's going to be. And some people think he's going to be the guy. And that's amazing. That's an amazing resume through, what has he been in the league for? 4 years? That's an amazing resume so far.
Not too bad. It's interesting, your commentary on the fact that he's not on the team anymore. People won't remember him on the team. I wonder if that hurts a player's rookie card. I don't think it does. I really don't think it does too much because it's his rookie card, but maybe it does. Maybe it does. Some people who are big fans of his team might say, I want him on the current team, not the old team. So I definitely understand that. And in that case, well, there's lots of options for that for sure. Let's talk about this Brady before we go back to some comments. 2000 playoff contenders, rookie auto, Tom Brady. This is in an SGC 9 holder with a 10 auto. And let's get a look at this card. There. Oh, this thing looks, it might be the SGC, the black tux holder, but look at the autograph on this, Adam. It's all, how, if you have blue eyes, you're wearing a blue shirt, the shirt brings out your eyes, right? In this case, I feel like maybe the black tux is bringing out the auto, but you look at that auto, look at how perfect that might. I feel like I said this not too long ago, maybe as recent as last month, Adam, but this might be the nicest auto I've ever seen on a Contenders ticket auto for Tom Brady.
It's really strong.
Solid.
It's really strong, and I agree with you. I think part of it is that the SGC holder does sort of bring it out. Also, imaging, you sort of wonder how much does the imaging help it, but that looks better than just about any Brady autograph that we've seen on this card. I'm with you.
And the card's condition looks to be wonder. And I'm only really saying this in relation to corners and edges. Looks to be absolutely wonder. Look at this left edge coming down where it's all blue. I don't see any white coming through. Down there maybe, but that's just natural fray off the card. That's nothing. What a great copy of this card. I'm surprised it's not a 10, to be honest, on the condition, and I couldn't tell you why. Obviously in hand, maybe I'd spot something different, but that's a solid copy right there, guys. At $17,000, pop 2 with only 2 graded higher by SGC. Couple comments. Ziri, you are welcome. Larry says that classic Ricky Henderson batting stance makes it a classic. It is such a classic image, isn't it? Isn't it? Professor says, going back to the printing plate discussion, Adam called it a card. So is there any need for further discussion? Always need for further discussion. Mike Nunya says, any game use patch of Michael Jordan is from his actually playing years. Yeah, the patch is.
True. It's true.
The patch. So a part of the card is, does that make it playing days? Well, 30% maybe of that card is playing days. I like that comment from Mike right there. Deep value investor Brent Wire has joined the chat. Everybody, what's up, Brent? Good to see you. Good to see you. Definitely. Mike Double V in the house. What's going on, Mike? Deep value says Red Posey and Pujols. The Red Buster Posey and Pujols, a couple of his favorites in the auction tonight for sure. And Michael Hathaway, who knows his card, says really nice to see almost no edge wear on the Brady. Tough subgrade, and that copy knocks it out of the park. Yeah, this is a great card. This card comes with the Jeremy Lee personal endorsement from a two-dimensional assessment perspective. I have to qualify it with that. And guys, we've got more of you joining now. I want to let everybody know we were contacted by Fanatics Collect today before the show started. Some users of the site are having trouble logging in. So if you notice on the ticker right now, there's a bunch of information to direct you to some articles to figure out. And there's also an email at cs@fanaticscollect.com. If you're having issues, please go ahead and reach out. I've also pinned to the top of the YouTube chat where you will be able to see a link directly to one of those articles to help you out. So please feel free to check those out. OC Trust Attorney, what's going on? Says the Red Buster Posey is the holy grail for me.
Hey,
very cool.
I want to jump in real quick because I have some fun data for you here. Okay, we're gonna test your hockey knowledge right now, Jeremy. If you'll agree to be tested on this. Earlier, we were talking about the most graded cards and the toughest gems, and I made the case that the Ricky Henderson is the lowest gem rate of any card in the top 100 most graded cards in PSA's history. And then Jeremy said, wait a second, there's the Gretzky. I wonder where that falls on the list. So I was able through gem rate to go get the 500 most graded cards in the history of PSA, Jeremy, and I'm going to test you here. Okay. So here we go. I have the number of cards in the top 100 that are in the top 500, that are hockey cards. So how many would you guess of the top 500 most graded cards ever are hockey cards? And this includes Pokemon. This includes all sports, everything that PSA is graded. And for everybody in the chat too, how many cards do you think are hockey cards in the top 500?
The top 500 ever graded by PSA. Oh my gosh, this is a tough question. I thought you were going to ask me which hockey card has been graded the most by PSA.
We'll get there.
I think I know that one. Okay, I'm going to go with, I'm going to guess 15.
The answer, nobody else is answering in the chat right now. We're going to blow it up so nobody's going to see it or going to be able to give it. It's 5. So 5 in the top 100. Zach said 3. We've got 5. Okay, now you were going to say which one's the most graded. Which card is most graded of the 5 hockey cards?
I believe it's the O-Pee-Chee Premier Yarmer Yager from 1990.
So you're going to be surprised then. That one's actually number 2. And the one that's ahead of it.
Hold on.
Yager, by the way, Yager is at 263, by the way. So nowhere near the top 100. One is just barely above it at 255. And what is that?
Is that Cole Caulfield?
Cole Caulfield is number 4. Very good.
Is it Kirill Kaprizov?
Not in the top 500.
No. So who? You can go ahead and tell us.
Well, is the obvious one. It's the Gretzky OPC is number 1. I say obvious because I don't know hockey, and that's what I would have guessed. But it's at number 255. So there's no hockey card that's on the top 100. That's why it doesn't make that list. And then number 3, okay, there's 2 more cards in the top 5. I want to see if you can get them.
I don't. Go ahead and tell us.
Gretzky Topps rookie card is number 3, and then number 5 is actually the Bedard. Is already
Bedard. It hasn't even been out for 6 months, and it's the 5th most graded hockey card of all time by PSA.
It's great.
Let that be a cautionary tale for everybody. Adam, that was fun. Thank you. Let's go to a few comments here. Then we're going to get to more cards for sure. We got to get some more cards here. So first of all, Zach guessed 3. Michael Hathaway said 4. He was closest. Jason Newman said 2. Gennady said 0. Jeff Lawson 7. Vintage said 7. GC 0. Yeah, Michael. Bedard was in the top, was the 5th. Jack Hughes was a great guess by GC. I think it's got to be up there as well. And Michael Hathaway says, Bedard printing press memes are real. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay. All right, guys. Back to the cards. Next row. Adam, we've got these are such cool cards. Let's open this one up and take a look at it. We got to go. So these images it's a little bit different than it used to be. And, I just want to make a comment. There was a comment in the chat earlier from Stephen Pitcher here, who, very unfairly says that, the changeover didn't happen. If you've ever been involved in anything, any sort of migration, integration, changeover, these things take time, and they're also going to get better as time goes on. So I think personally, I think it's a completely unfair comment. And second of all, it's going to get better as time goes by. So we can afford to be patient and let them work out some of the kinks, including this image issue. So now instead, we're going to open up the listing itself and then go to the image right there. And here's the card, 1999 Upper Deck Final Floor, PSA 10, Jordan autograph out of 23, piece of floor from a game he played in, embedded in the card, Adam. You know so much about this. I love the looks of this card too. You also have the floor motif in the background. Adam, is there any significance to the shape of that red outline? Is that like supposed to be like the key or something, which is oval? But what do you think? Like, tell us about this card, because I know you'll know a lot about it.
I'm like you. I do love it. I love it for a lot of different reasons. I'll try to keep it short. In 1999, Upper Deck, across all of their products, which was like 15 products or something, they introduced this final floor set. And so it's not just an Upper Deck, it's in other parts of the set or other products. They made 12 final floor cards. So you see this one's numbered FF2A. It goes up to 12, right? And each of them had a few different variations. The easiest variation is just the floor card. And those were like 1 in 2,500 packs. But every one of the 12 has an autograph version that's numbered to 23. So you can do the math. 23 times 12 is how many of them actually exist. How many of those, what's 23 times 12? Like close to 300, right? Of all of those, only 5 of them have ever been graded a PSA 10. So most copies of the card, most of the 12, don't actually have a PSA 10. It's only 5 of them that do. And this one, what stands out to me, and I'm sure it will to you as well, Jeremy, even though it's an old slab, that autograph is just perfect. I mean, it is blue. It's exactly what you want it to look like. And I love it. It's one of those that you sort of look at and you go, gosh, I wonder what that'll sell for, because it's such an outstanding copy of something that we know where there's only one of them in that condition. So
it's a great card. I absolutely love it, and it's one that grows on me. It's, this might be one of my favorite Jordan cards that exists, to be honest. Now that I'm, the picture of him, the game use floor, the autograph limited to 23, gem mint condition, on card auto. I love the hardwood floor background. Like, that's something that I usually wouldn't like, but I love it in this case. Great looking card. It's at $42,000. It's a 1-on-1 in that grade, has 34 bids. We also have a 2001 Bowman Chrome Refractor Albert Pujols, numbered out of 500. And this card has a stunning autograph on it as well. Let's have a look. Oh, a little bit streaky, but still very solid. And if you've seen many of these, many of them look like this or worse. This one looks very good still. PSA 10, tough card to find, only 500 made, currently at $44,000. And one of the Mays is up next, Adam. I know you mentioned there's several of them tonight, and this does have eye appeal. PWCC exceptional eye appeal, top 15%. It's a PSA 10, and that's a nice looking card as well. Let's open it up actually and take a quick look at it itself. Let's zoom in. Top edge, beautiful. Corners, beautiful. Left and right edges, as I scan quickly, are awesome. The centering, is that perfect centering? Is it slightly to the left? Maybe it might be slightly to the left, but I encourage everybody to assess it for themselves. That's a good looking card. It's not my favorite image of Willie Mays, but it's a good looking card as far as condition goes. And it's a 23.5.
Can we do our first would you rather of the night?
Sure.
So there's 4 Willie Mayses. Can you pull them up right now? I'm really excited to see how you'll answer this and how other people in the chat will answer this. So
okay, we can definitely do that. Let me just close a bunch of tabs so we don't get lost here. We're going to close the Jordan. We're going to leave the 68 right there. Now we're going to go hunting for the rest of the Willie Mays cards, but please keep an eye on everything going. But by the way, this Bronco Nagurski is one of the coolest cards in the hobby. PSA 1 with above average eye appeal at 10,500. I absolutely love that card. There's a couple hockey cards. Ziri was asking about that earlier. There's a Willie Mays right there, 52 tops. And tell me if I pass one by accident here, Adam, as I run through these different. Oh, wow. This is going to be tough. Okay, so here we have.
It really is.
We have the 4 Willie Mays. We got the 52 tops, SGC 7. Sharp card, but off-centered. We got the 53 SGC 7.5, an absolute blazer. We got the 51, his one and only rookie card, authentic. The card is slabbed authentic. The autograph is certified by PSA DNA, and it's not a bad-looking copy. I want to get a closer look, but the centering is great. And finally, the 68. So, Adam, if we're playing Would You Rather between these 4 cards, I'm going to start process of elimination. The first one.
Can you put them in order? Actually, I shouldn't have said Would You Rather. Put them in order from what you like most to what you like least. And I think, honestly, I
got to start from least to most. It's just going to help me figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to be least. This card isn't even on my radar as something that I want to own, because I'm not working on a Willie Mays run or a 68 Hall of Famer run or PSA set registry for any of those. So this one's out for me. Then, oh, goodness gracious. See, I know the number one, so I'm going to go with the number 1 now, and then I'm going to have to figure. Number 1 is this one right here. This is probably my favorite vintage baseball card. I love the 48 leaf Jackie, of course, but the aesthetic of this card here, the image, to me, you know what? Years ago, the PSA magazine had this card as the cover. And that was when I just fell in love with this card. I didn't really know about it before then. I wasn't familiar with it. And this goes back probably at least 10 years ago. And I was a member back at that time. I got the subscription to, it was probably an SMR magazine at that time, not even the new PSA mag. And this was the cover. I fell in love with it. And I look at these cards. This has great centering, great color, very little staining, if any at all.
It's gorgeous.
And what you always want to look at on this card is this bottom and right edge where the black is. Well, the right edge is great. The bottom, you see some white, but not bad at all.
It's so good.
SGC 7.5. This is number 1 for me, Adam. And then you're asking me to choose between the 52 tops and the autograph 51 Bowman. That's a tough one. It's almost a toss-up because I don't really care about autograph vintage cards. They're cool. I care about them, but I don't strive to own them.
Well, if you look closely at them and see if one comes out to you more than the other.
Well, yeah. See, this has a bunch of fish eyes in the name bar. I don't like that. It's got fading. The black plate, the black strike was faded down here on the left bottom as well. You've got some surface issue over here. But the centering is great. The edges are wonderful. The corners are wonderful. I don't see any. I don't know why it's authentic and not graded with a number. I wish you could know that.
I thought the exact same thing. About the exact same thing. Yep.
Yeah. Was it submitted by the submitter to say, hey, I don't want you to numerically grade this, just slab it authentic? Or is there a reason why it's not graded? We just don't know. PSA, back then, up until very recently, didn't give you any context around that. So it's tough to say, but still a great card. For me, I'm going to go with the 52 Bowman as my number 2. The 51, sorry, the 52 tops. So my order, 53 tops first, followed by 52 tops, followed by 51 autograph Bowman, followed by this, which doesn't even play for me. And I'm certain that a lot of people would have this as number 1 because it's autographed.
Okay, so if anybody else has a take on this, Michael Hathaway says 51 signed, then 53 SGC, 68. 68 is the PSA 10. Michael, and then 52 is his order. For me, I'm gonna surprise you here. I think, Jeremy, a little bit. I am gonna go with the autograph first. I don't think that will surprise you. There's only 31 signed Mays rookies, and some of them are really beat to heck. This one, the fisheyes bugged me too in the nameplate, and the autograph is a little bit old. Looks like he's getting a little bit. He's a little bit old when he signs it. I don't love that, but there's just 31 of them. Like it's very rare. It's one of the most, I don't know, 10 to 15 most iconic baseball cards ever made. He's arguably number 1 or number 2 baseball player ever. Like, that's really cool. And I know he lived a long time, and so there might be more autographs that come out. But to me, that's number 1. And then I'm going to actually put the 68 number 2. And I know that's weird because it's just not as iconic of a card. But my research project this week on this was how many PSA 10 Willie Mays cards does he have from his entire 20-something years, from 1952 to 1974. What is that? 23 years. He's got 70 total PSA 10s across that entire time. And so for me, again, that's something that's just super rare, and I love rarity. And so I have that number 2. And then because I love you and your perspective, I put 53 number 3 and then 52 number 4, but I love the 52 as well. So I think they're all they all speak to different types of, collectors. A 7 on the 52, which is probably his second most iconic card, is absolutely huge. And I just put it 4th. And that's sort of a testament to the quality of these 4 cards, which the last point I want to make about that is it's not shocking that we have such awesome Mays cards up this month because he just passed away, right? We knew that would probably happen. And here they are, and they're 4 really great cards, and it'll be interesting to see how they sell in comparison to each other as the nights go, and see how the buyers sort of value them or rank them in the end.
Yeah, I'm listening to your reasoning for everything, and we all collect differently. The comment you made on the 68 and the 52 were based on based on grading rarity, the scarcity based on grading, not based on the card itself. But the 51, you're all about your reasoning is based on amount availability, which is fine. That a lot of you're certain. I'm probably in the minority that I don't collect that way. The fact that this is a PSA 10 doesn't move the needle for me at all. If the card isn't on my want list, I personally don't care that it's a low pop 10 personally, but so many people do, and I get that. And then this one here, I think Hathaway made a comment about, you just can't get past the centering, but I can get past the centering on this card because look at those corners and edges. Like, the centering doesn't bother me on this card. It's obviously it's not a well-centered card, but every other criteria on the card, this thing is an absolute blazer except for centering. So, you think about PSA and their qualifiers. Is this a PSA 9 OC? Because if it is, it's a 9 card except for centering, which I think is an unbelievable example. This to me, though, is the star of the show, but that's just me. I love this card, and I don't collect based on grading scarcity. Personally, that's not going to motivate me to. It used to, but I feel I've evolved that way, at least the way I like to evolve. And so I'm going to go with the card I like most.
Do remember that the number 1 card that I picked was actually his most recognized card,
the 51.
Yeah,
the autograph.
So yeah. It isn't like, I feel like you put me in a really simple box just now. Like, I don't actually think it's just about scarcity or availability. I think it's a mixture of all of the things, and I think that you could get 10 different really well-respected hobbyists in here right now, and they could argue for each of the 4 different cards in 10 totally different orders, if that's mathematically possible, because these 4 cards are all really unique, interesting, different types of cards that appeal to different bases. And I'm actually, I agree with you on the 68 in some ways, because I couldn't even have told you what that card looked like. It was when I looked at it through the lens of, there's 23 cards that he has, and he only has 70 PSA 10s. That's just not a big number. And I do think that has appeal to some people, but you're right. I shouldn't just collect based on what I think other people are going to like. should collect based on what I like. And for me, the 51 is the star of the show.
And I completely understand that. And again, so many people would put that there, and I get it. It's a fan. Hey, I own that card, just not with an autograph, just without the autograph, right? Great piece. Okay, let's go back up to where we left off. So now we've talked about the Mays, the 68 Mays. Now we've got a Joe Burrow NT RPA out of 99, nice 2-color patch. We've got a Mike Trout 2012 Prism Gold out of 10 in a PSA 10 holder, Pop 1. Now, this card is not licensed, but it is still, I believe, to be a very important Mike Trout card. Pop 1, it has the Prism Gold brand going for it, which is a big deal. And it's at $77.50. Seems low to me on that. Adam, what do you think? Just because I know you love your 2012 Prism Golds in basketball. Do you think that if this was licensed, couldn't you put a 2 or a 3 before that first 7?
Man, I have no idea about that. I don't know what the Prism brand means in baseball. I do think it's cool that 2012 gives us cards from each of the 4 major sports, including hockey, even though hockey didn't have their own product, right? It came in like a different kind of set, like a Chronicles or something like that. There was a few 2012 hockey Prism cards. You'll have to help me out if you know the background there. But my question for the audience, because the audience knows a lot more about baseball, modern baseball, than we do, is there anybody else from 2012 Prism baseball that you'd rather have a gold of than Trout? Or is he the number one? Yeah. So
probably not.
If that's true, then in football it's Brady, and in basketball it's LeBron. In baseball it's Trout, and I don't know what exists in hockey. I'd need to do the research, but it might be the best 2012 Prism Gold baseball card. That's pretty cool.
It is. I think it's pretty cool for those reasons as well. And we've got a 86 Fleer Jordan in a BGS 9.5 holder. Let's take a look at this copy. Another nice copy, actually. Look at that. It's got 395s with surface as a 9, and I don't see why, but I can't move it around under the light. We could look at the video after. Centering is really good, but it is a little bit to the left. It's maybe a little bit high. What's centering? Centering's 9.5. Maybe an overgrade on the centering there. I'm not sure, because it is off both ways, top to bottom and side to side. The color is strong. The corners and edges appear to be, I want to say, perfect. Maybe those are undergraded and could be 10s. I don't know. Really strong copy right there. I think the centering is the thing that might be holding it back just a bit. Adam, what do you think of this copy?
Well, I think that, as you say, it's both off side to side and top to bottom. And it's interesting that it still yields the 9.5 centering grade. But one of the things that I had somebody ask me about this week was, what are the standards? Like, this is something you always talk about. Isn't it 60-40 for PSA? I don't know what it is for Beckett. And so, I'm not sure. I know it doesn't compare as well to the 10 that we looked at earlier, but everything else on the card looks pretty strong. What do you think the Surface 9 is for? Do you see anything in the card that sort of
no
that?
I don't. But again, well, let's go to the video. Let's go to the video now and see if we can. And I can't really make it any bigger, unfortunately, guys. But it's going to be tough to see anything, especially since it's kind of moving around a lot. I see nothing on the surface, Adam, unless wait a second. I was noticing this, but I can't tell. There's a little white dot right above my cursor there. I think that's in the image. I think that's in the card, in the picture. That's certainly in the picture. I'm not seeing any issues with the surface, but there's a slight, I think I just saw a fisheye. Nope, that was a little something on my, nope, that's on my monitor. Never mind.
Registration looks really solid. Corners and edges look really solid. And 9.5 doesn't, I just want to be clear, 9.5 on this doesn't surprise me. It's a really, really nice card. The thing that I always like to say is I worry about cards that have been out of cases in the last few years more than I do about cards that have been in cases for a long time. This card was graded roughly 11, 12 years ago. And that's, to me, I think that's a good thing. It's good that it hasn't been touched by human hands in that time. I like that. It's better. It's better than any Jordan rookie I've ever owned. I'll tell you that.
25.5 seems like a good price at this point. We've seen that I feel like we saw a BGS 9.5 sell recently for $60K or even a little bit north of that. Now it might have been a True Gem Plus. Brent says someone is going to get a steal on that gold Trout. Jonathan lets us know that 2012 did have Harper, but Trout should be the number one of that product. Jonathan agrees that Trout gold is a steal right there. And Deep Value says, just like no recent comps means cards sell for high, this card has moved a few times recently, so you can take advantage of that on the buy side. That's a good point right there that he makes. And we don't really call this out very often, Adam, but when a card doesn't have very many recent comps, or when it does have a lot of recent comps, it usually brings the value down because it just feels like it's too available. A card that comes up more often than you'd expect, you might be able to get a deal on it because people are maybe getting a little tired of it. So I certainly see those comments.
It's interesting. It's something that we should talk about more. It goes against your psychology a little bit because you see something a lot and you're like, oh, it must not be worth as much. It's gonna be tanking. Well, when something decreases 20, 30, 40% overnight, that may be the very best time you ever have to buy the card. And so yeah. I'm with Brent on this one. Which card is he talking about though?
We're talking about the Trout, to which Vintage Card Collector says it might be the low price might be due to his overall market. He is in a bit of, he's not as hot as he was for many years leading up to now. So perhaps, but he's still going to go down as an all-time great player, especially if he can win a championship one of these years, which is not a gimme for sure. I want to go to some comments from a bit earlier, guys, though, and then we're going to look at these next group of cards. And Zach Swisher said his only issue so far with the conversion from PWCC to Fanatics Collect is having trouble finding the sold listings. That is going to be rectified soon, is my understanding, Zach. So thanks for pointing it out. And just another one of those things that will get caught up as soon as they can. So please be patient. And most of you always are. We got good people in this hobby, but we do have a few people who just, their mother didn't bring them up as well. GC says, are the same people doing eye appeal ratings still? I think so. I'm not 100% certain, but I think it's probably the same people doing eye appeal at Fanatics Collect now. Jeff Hart says the 53 Mays is amazing, if I recall. Jay-Z in the house, everybody. What's up, Jay-Z? Zach Swisher says the authentic 51 Bowman Willie Mays with the auto. That card has eye appeal and an auto, but I'm an auto guy. See, I love this. Like, we all collect differently. Joe Pro says the 53 is tough to beat, but I just might take the 51. Joe likes his autoed vintage. I get it. OC Trust Attorney is a Mays collector. I like the 53. Jonathan says the 53 is just plain stunning. I agree. OC 51 would be my choice if the card was graded. Well, you can go get it graded if you want. I think you probably could, but maybe not if but it doesn't say altered. It just says authentic. All right, a couple more comments on that. Although Zach Swisher says, does the grade matter on 51? Auto makes it great. Fun debate. And I say it doesn't matter so much. It's about knowing that the player held the card, at least for me, if I was a collector of autographed rookie, Hall of Fame rookies. Okay, Adam, we got to keep going through some cards here, unless you have anything you'd like to jump in on everything I just ran through quickly.
There's a million things that I could, but let's keep going.
Okay. I hear it, dude. I hear it. All right. We have a PSA 9, 86 Fleer, Michael Jordan. But first, I got to close some windows. Let's stay organized here, everybody. 86 Fleer MJ, PSA 9. Let's have a look. So it's a nice copy, in my opinion. Corners are basically perfect. You do have more fray coming off the left edge than we've seen in the other two copies tonight, so that might bother some people. On the right edge, looks really good. A little white right there on the blue. Not major, but it's there. You're going to notice it, so be aware of that. But overall, centering, top to bottom looks bang on. Side to side, it is centered to the left. It is off center to the left a little bit. Kind of looks like, 60-40, 65-35 to me, but a decent 9. This is very similar to the 9 I used to own, actually. So that's just me. And Brent is letting us, so he does believe the same people are doing eye appeal over at Fanatics Collect. Brent is now part of the Fanatics team. Okay. Adam, any comments on the MJ?
Can you zoom into the top left? Is it that some white fray there, or is that, yeah.
Yeah, that's fray coming all the way down.
Yeah. But it doesn't come all the way down. It sort of stops mid-card, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I just went all the way down your view, what we're looking at. Yeah, it does. It does come. It's pretty much all the way down, but it goes. It gets kind of. It's got.
To be clear, doesn't bother me. To me, myself, and I actually like it personally. But to some people, it might bother them. The big thing on this one is what you hit at the top for me, which is the centering side to sides like 60-40, maybe 38-62, and I don't think if this was in a 10 holder, we would go, oh, that's weird. Getting a 9 with this centering is probably about the best you could hope for, I think.
I like that the fray on the left edge doesn't bother you. And the reason I like it is because it reminds me of the 79 O-Pee-Chee Wayne Gretzky, which me and my fellow hockey collectors like that. We want a little bit of that rough cut on it. So, but the Jordan's a completely different card. It's at 13.5 right now, everybody. And finally, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I wonder if in 20 years from now, when the hobby is completely different than it is today, if the measurements that the graders put on the cards sort of reevaluates all of the PSA cards, all the BGS cards, all of the tag cards, all of the CGC, SGC, all of them, and it says how big is the card side to side, how big is it up and down, how much does it weigh, how thick is it? And I wonder if all of those things combined will add up to tell us that some cards that we didn't previously think were altered or were too small are too small. And so when you see fraying, that to me is a sign like somebody hasn't adjusted this, somebody hasn't altered this. And I know I'm alone on that. I never err on the side of aesthetics, right? Some people are like, I just don't like it. It just doesn't look good, but I just don't care. So anyway, those are my thoughts.
Great thoughts, by the way. Like I think with the way technology is going, we could get there one day. Okay, guys, 1996 Topps Chrome Refractor, Kobe Bryant rookie, PSA 9. And the first thing you look for on these cards is greening. And I start by looking at Kobe himself. I don't see any on the legs. I don't see any on the elbows, the forearms, the hands, the head, the shoulder, slightly right there on the bicep, slight on the bicep, but on the defender's leg, I'm seeing a chunk of it right here on the calf muscle. It's funny to talk about body parts here, Adam, but that's where we are. A little bit right there, but very minimal compared to some other copies. It is a 9, and it is off center, a bit high and a bit to the left, but nothing offensive, at least for me. And it's not a 10, so it is a 9. It's a great color. It's an old holder. Yeah. Adam, your comment. I know you're colorblind. It's hard for you to see the greening, which probably makes collecting refractors that much more enjoyable for you. But what are your thoughts on the Kobe refractor?
I think I'm getting better at it. You point out the color blindness thing. That's definitely true. But what I would love to see in the hobby, again, we're just sitting here sort of saying, I wish this, I wish that, but I wish we had a service that was provided for refractors from 1993 to 1997 that could say on a scale of 1 to whatever how good the color is. My eyes aren't perfect, but I can tell you that the color on this one's better than probably the majority that I've seen. I would say even maybe like the 75% of the ones that I've seen. It's not the best that I've seen recently, but I think it's a better than average copy as far as color goes from what I can tell. And that's not perfect because I second guess my color abilities all the time. But would you agree with that, Jeremy, or am I alone?
No, I'm with you. I agree. I think the copy is, I'm with you. And in the interest of time, let's keep on going. PSA 8, O-Pee-Chee Gretzky rookie card, timely card to come up since I just sort of mentioned it. Let's take a look at this one. My favorite card to analyze, PSA 8. First thing that jumps out at me is the centering. It's not bad, but it is a little bit off to the left. You can see the fray coming off both side edges. It's harder to see the top just because the PSA, those little ridges inside the slab. The registration looks really good. It's not perfect, but it's really good. Corner, top right corner is great. Top left corners it's got the fray coming off it, but I think it's blue right to the tip. Top edge is wonderful. This is the amount of rough cut on an O-Pee-Chee Gretzky that I love. I absolutely love the rough cut on this one. And I like it better on a Gretzky than I do on a Jordan, for whatever that's worth. The bottom left corner, I'm noticing a slight, I don't want to call it rounding, but it doesn't look like a perfect 90-degree angle to me down there on the bottom left. Bottom right looks nice and sharp. We zoom in. The word Edmonton and Oilers seems to be on the same plane, which is great. Sometimes the word Oilers is a bit high or a bit low. Registration-wise, I'm not seeing any. Now I see one as I say it, a very minor white little hairline right through it there between the blue and the red. But I don't think you're going to notice that unless you're zooming in. Really tight printing on the blues and the blacks. The oil drop, the magenta plate is like perfectly placed. The yellow's a bit to the right, which is giving us a little bit of a blur on the bottom of the legs here, but not bad. We've seen much worse. So this is a pretty good copy. The thing that bothers me most about it is the centering, and the bottom left corner. What I like the most about it are the edges, and the overall color is great. It's not my favorite 8 I've seen. I've seen better 8s, that's for sure. Hopefully there's no eye appeal. There isn't. That's good to see. It's a 10,500. I don't expect it to get any more bids, but I think it's priced right where it should be right now. Adam, anything to add on the Gretzky?
Nope.
Next row, we've got a Magic unopened box here. We've got some Pokemon, and we've got a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar 1969 PSA 8 rookie card, formerly known as Lou Alcindor. And Adam, we got to look at the Lou. This is interesting. The card, something's wrong with I think the card is just in the holder on a tilt. You see, it kind of looks like it's diamond cut. It might be diamond cut, actually. This might be diamond cut. And the reason I say that is because look at how the right edge is like straight up and down here. The left edge is not. I see no tilt on the edge, yet I see tilt on the top edge and the severe tilt. I got to look at the video because this card would not. We got to see the video for a second. I think I don't know, Adam. This one is throwing me for a bit of a loop. I can't tell if it's diamond cut or not. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. The thing that I struggle with on this is usually I've tried to look at, I don't even know what it's called. The thing that holds the card in place, that plastic piece on each of the 4 edges. I don't know what we call that, but you can sometimes look at the space in between that and the card on both the top and the bottom, the left and the right, and on the sides, and sort of discern what you're talking about. But what I've noticed recently is that it sort of feels sometimes like the card goes into that. Like it goes into that space, and it just plays with my eyes. I can't really, it's hard for me to tell. I think I'm going to pull it up on my screen and try to inspect it myself.
It looks diamond cut to me, guys. Even in the video now, it looks diamond cut. So diamond cut to me is when you do not have a perfect rectangle. You do not have 4 perfect 90-degree angles. That's what diamond cut means to me. Not when the image is on tilt on a perfect rectangle with 4 perfect 90-degree angle corners. That to me is called tilt. That is a centering issue. That's what that is. This looks diamond cut. It does not look to be a perfect rectangle. And if that is true, and I can't see how it isn't, it's just it looks blatantly to be that way, then I would steer clear of this. I would steer clear of this card. Look at the gap in the look at how it slopes upwards here. And look at the gap between the top of the card and the bottom of this little ridge inside the PSA slab. It's wide here, and it goes to the point where it almost touches here. And you get it down here too, the same thing. It almost touches, and it gets wider as you go this way. Now, if this card was simply tilted within the holder, you would see the similar effect going on the edges, but you don't. These are perfectly straight. So I think this card is diamond cut. If it is, it's a total deal killer for me. I wouldn't touch it at all, personally. It's graded an 8. Is this an old grade? It's a very old grade, you guys. This, I'll give you the Jeremy Lee endorsement on a card. This is the opposite. I do not like this card at all.
So can I jump in real quick?
Yeah,
I want you to teach me. Oftentimes when we have these conversations, I learn from what you're talking about with the condition. So I just pulled it up, and when I pull it up, I know what you're saying as far as like the sort of like side to side thing, right? Like is it going straight up? I can't tell with that plastic piece next to it if on the right side, if it really does look like it's going straight up, and on the left side, it sort of is going into the barrier, the plastic barrier, in a way that I can't tell, but when I look at the top, it is certainly slanting upwards as it goes along to the right, and it's doing exactly what you would expect on the bottom, right? It's doing that exact same thing. So if those two things are doing what they're supposed to do, then is what you're saying that the card then has to also on the sides sort of be tilted?
Well, yeah, exactly. Because when you look at this card, I would expect you to be able to tap the holder and have the bottom edge of the card be exactly on a flat surface, so there would be no gap here. This would all be the same. It would be resting on this little ridge here, but it isn't. And then I look at the side edges to kind of confirm what I'm seeing. And if you talked about the left and the right edge, let's look at the right edge. Look at how close the edge comes to the ridge. We scroll up slowly. Pretty much the same the whole way up. That tells me you can't tilt the card to make the top and bottom be at a 180 degree. You just can't tilt it to make them flat. And the same thing on the left here. It's like hugging against the ridge. You come down and it's still hugging against the ridge. This thing's diamond cut. I mean, I'm almost convinced of it. The fact that it's in a really old PSA slab also kind of confirms that, or at least doesn't confirm, but corroborates the theory here. I don't want to spend much more time on this though, Adam, because we have so many more cards to get to. And again, do not endorse this card. And I just hope whoever buys it is going to be happy, because 15.5 is a lot of money for a card that should probably be a miscut. It should probably be a miscut in my opinion. And so I can't endorse it. Okay. Can we go on, or do you have any final thoughts?
No. Nothing.
Okay, let's keep on going. Now, this card I endorse. This card I absolutely love right here. The 1935 National Chickle, Bronco Nagurski, PSA 1, above average eye appeal, 10.5 right now, guys. I love this card. And listen, I don't know much about Bronco Nagurski. I just know that he's, a goat of vintage football. This is a Mount Rushmore football card. It does have, I studied this card because I really like it. It's got a crease coming right down. It doesn't go hit his face, but it goes right by his ear. We've seen things go by ears recently. You see it going by the ear right there. It comes all the way down right to the belt line. But the centering of this card, the color is nice. It's got issues, guys. It's a PSA 1. But this card, let's look at the back of it too. I love this. And it gets my endorsement, not necessarily just, it gets I love the card that you can't find these hardly ever in any condition. And this is a gorgeous one. You can see the crease right there as well, coming all the way through. It stops right about here or so, I'd say. It has corner issues. It has edges issues, some discoloration, some layering of the corners, but still a great card, Adam. Oh boy, would I be proud to own this copy. What do you think? I know you're not a football guy, but you still have an eye for this stuff. What do you think of this?
Yeah, every time I do a top 10 list, if the Nagurski isn't the auction, I always put it on the list because I like it that much. I'm with you. So here's your trivia question. In PSA's history, how many Nagurskis have they graded total?
Ooh, I'm gonna guess. Oh boy, because now I'm thinking, is it more or less than the T206 Honus Wagner? And I can't see it being. I'm going to guess they've graded. I'm I'm going to say 34. I'm going to go with the card number.
It's a lot more than that. It's
it?
it's way less than like the other cards of the era or of within like sort of 20, 30 years of it. That like look at the Mantle 51 and 52. Like it's so much more than this. So this one is 200 and doing some math, 204 total copies that have ever been graded by PSA. And it's, as far as vintage football goes, like real vintage football, it's easily the best known card. So seeing it in a one, I'm with you. Like there's this whole spectrum of ones. Actually 10 of the 204 or whatever number I just told you, 10 of them are authentics. There's 25 ones and 2 of them are qualified ones. So
how many total graded? I didn't hear.
204.
Okay. Yeah. And I bet this looks better than most of the 2s and 3s and 3.5s,
Right. Yeah.
Let's go. Jordan said, I've said it before, but Adam is better than Wikipedia. Adampedia, welcome to the show. Jacob Dahl says, did you know the Bronco is the greatest football card to own, like the Vezina is in hockey and the Honus Wagner in football? I did know that, Jacob Dahl, just like the Mikan is in basketball, if we're keeping apples to apples here. I definitely agree with all that. Joe Perot says they need a new qualifier, DC for diamond cut. I think MC kind of would cover it, but to me, I agree with Joe because MC tells me that the card is still a perfect rectangle. I agree with Joe. It is a miscut, but I think diamond cut is enough of a differentiator that it could use its own qualifier. I agree with Joe on that, actually. Now that I think even more. And
one of the things we've talked about before is whenever we see miscut, you're almost always getting a little bit of another card on the card with the MC. But I agree with both you guys. The DC, it makes sense. I wish that it would sure take away some like, oh hey, yeah, what's going on here in the holder if we had the DC qualifier.
Exactly. And just to remind everybody again, we heard from Fanatics Collect earlier. If you are having trouble logging into your account, there is a comment post pinned to the top of the YouTube chat, which will take you to an article to figure it out. And on the ticker right now, there's also an email address, CS@Fanatics Collect, if you need them to help you right now to get some bids in. Don't hesitate to do that. Let's go. Jordan says 110%. That thing was miscut. Mike Nunya agreed with it. So does Vintage Card Collector, and I'm just trying to, make sure that I'm not missing something there. Zach Swisher, what's the next closest vintage football card? Unitas Otto Graham. Yes, I know Jeremy has an Otto Graham. I do, and I love it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Joe Namath. Maybe Joe Namath for me would be, even though it's an oversized card like Kareem is, I might go with the Joe Namath, but I love the Unitas and I love the Otto Graham. So yeah, there are definitely some. Jay-Z says you can always tell when Jeremy really likes a card. Passion comes right through the screen. I can't help myself, Jay-Z. I always get to see you, buddy. Okay, keeping on going. Adam, 2 dual autographed MJ LeBron autos. We're going to play Would You Rather now with Adam Gray, everybody. Let's open these up. We're going to close everything else here really quick. And we're going to open up. Oh, well, this is an easy Would You Rather, I suppose. But Adam, I'm going to just turn it over to you to describe this card right here. Oh, Vintage Card Collector says 58 Jim Brown. Of course, Vintage. Sorry, Adam.
Vintage 58 Jim Brown. What?
As maybe the second best football card behind Bronco Nagurski.
Yeah. I'm thinking like true vintage, like old. Like I don't think about the Jim Brown in the same vein as the.
You're thinking pre-war.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, there isn't a pre-war basketball. I guess there's 5 pre-war basketball cards total. Anyway, so you wanted me to do a Would You Rather with the 2 dual
because this is a 1 of 1 and this is out of 25 and this is harder to see. I mean, it's got to be this one. It's got to be, right?
So they're just 2 really different cards, and I'll tell you why I think they're 2 different cards. So this came out of a Jordan LeBron only pack, and this was 1 of 10, I believe 1 of 10 duels across the whole set. It was the highest, best possible thing you could possibly get. There were dual serial numbers. There was all these different types of things that you could get, but the dual auto 1 of LeBron Jordan was the very best card you get. The autographs are on sticker, so that is going to be something that some people just can't deal with. But I've seen one of these in hand, and that 1 of 1 in holofoil, and the whole card in holofoil is really cool. Like, it's really, really cool. So not all autographs are created equal. Not all sticker autographs are created equal either. But this one, it's a like a thinner plastic. It's not like a trilogy tip sometimes is that's really thick. It's like a thinner autograph. Better to see in hand where you could hold it up to the light. The autographs on this are pretty blue considering how some of them are. But whenever we get a surface like that has been signed, I'm always really leery of ones that have been wiped down and then re-signed again. And so I always look really close at the auto and say, how strongly do I feel like that is original? I like both these autos a lot. They look just like you want to. They're both right dead center, and I love that it's been in that BGS holder for about 10 years. It's really nice. For me in my collection, I don't have any sticker autographs. I'd actually go with this one, but which one do I expect will sell for more? I expect the 1 of 1 will sell for more.
This card to me, I mean, listen, aesthetically, this thing is just gorgeous. You're getting full body shots of both of them going in for dunks. You got a beautiful 1 of 1 stamp in the middle. I love that 1 of 1 script. You got two. These are the on-card autos. No, these are stickers, you're saying. Oh, I see them now. I see it now. Thank you. And these are not stickers?
Correct.
Oh, that's a big difference. You know what? And I'm not a sticker guy, but this might be a case where I would still take this one over this one because I know I'm going to enjoy looking at this card. I'm going to enjoy looking at this. This to me is a gorgeous card. And you get 2 pictures of each of them. Oh, it's the same picture. So not exactly, but you know, one of course is shadowy, but I just love the looks of this card. This one, I'm sure if you put a white background behind this thing, it would pop.
That's right.
And that's what, if anyone from Fanatics Collect is listening right now, an improvement I would suggest for certain imaging is some cards deserve a white background. They don't only deserve it, they need it. And I think that, you know, Fanatics Collect and any seller of card should try to optimize the imagery upon selling the card. And that would have helped. That would help it. I don't know if it's going to help the price, but it would certainly make it look better.
Let's look back at the 2005 MJ LeBron James bonus again, though. Like that, I don't think I've ever heard you say what you just said about a sticker autograph. You're like, I really like the way this looks. And the thing that I'll tell you that is just that should be like, this should be paramount here is in hand. It's just glorious. It really is. See the sweeping, I'm moving my hand. I know you can't see, but the sweeping like to the side of the 1 of 1 from top to bottom. And it's on, there's 4 lines. Those are all sweeping holofoil, the LeBron James, the Michael Jordan name, the Upper Deck logo. It's all really strong. It's one of the better looking cards that you'll see in hand. And again, it's a sticker. And so you go, oh, I can't do the sticker thing, but it's so nice that you sort of look at it and go, okay, I'm going to break my rule on this one.
Yeah, it's such a nice looking card. Okay, guys, let's keep on rolling. We got a 2018 Flawless Green Luka RPA out of 5. That looks to be a really nice patch as well. Yeah, look at that patch. Really cool. All sorts of breaks, stitching, nice light blue in there, dark blue there. That light blue does really help the card. The autograph is wonderful. Full body shot. You know, I love this flawless stuff. Beautiful card right there. Here's another Luka Exquisite Tribute out of 99. And then we have a Shohei Ohtani Bowman Chrome Atomic Refractor Auto out of 100. That's a nice looking Shohei right there with the cracked ice design going on, pitching pose. That's a nice looking card right there, if I might say so myself. Adam, any comments on this row?
I think the thing about the Luka in the middle that's interesting is that it's got that classic 03 exquisite look to it. I personally think on this card, it would be worth a lot more if the slab said 2018. I know it's a little thing, but like it's a rookie autograph patch, but the year on it is the year after Luka's rookie year. And I think the collectors notice something like that and it makes a big difference. And so I don't know if there's anything else to say about that. But if I was to choose between this and the Flawless that are up there, I would choose the Flawless because it's that game used patch that we always talk about with Flawless basketball that matters so much.
Is this not an 18-19 card though?
I mean, if it was, it should say 2018 on the slab, and it doesn't.
But we know slabs make mistakes regularly.
But they're not though. That's the thing is I looked at 10 of them. They're all 2019s.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Because the back of the card says 2019 down here. But oftentimes they come in the second half of the season. So this could be an 18-19, and maybe Beckett just doesn't know.
The thing about is it Goodwin Champions? I think it's Goodwin Champions, right?
That it came out of?
Yeah.
Doesn't say.
That doesn't say.
It doesn't say on the card.
There are some weird things that happened with timing with Upper Deck. Like they have the one that's like the E card that you had to like turn in copies to get another Luka card. Some of those were like the autographs weren't available until the cards had been out for like 6 months, and so they sort of get post dated into this 2018 year, but they really they weren't around for the original sort of inception of the product. And it's like, how do we put dates on here? Beckett and PSA, they're tasked with the difficult sort of chore of knowing how to delineate years. And so the fact that all of them say 2019 tells me that there's some reason why it says that. But if it wasn't for that, I actually really love that card. I think it's one of the more underrated early Luka cards.
This one right here we're talking about. Okay. Josh Adams likes the Nagurski as well. I knew you did, Josh. We talked about that in private chat, although I don't think I mentioned that I liked it too because I was thinking about mortgaging the house and picking it up. Okay, guys. 1933 Gaudy Babe Ruth number 144 PSA 6. This card has become very popular, even more than it ever was. I believe I'm seeing so much attention on it. This is a gorgeous copy. Look at this thing. Now it does have a registration issue. You can see that his face is blurry, but it's not that bad. I've seen worse. The corners, the edges, the color, the centering is all top notch. It is still a 6. It's not perfect, but that is a nice looking copy right there. And then 2 hockey cards. Sidney Crosby right here, Connor McDavid. The McDavid is the SB Authentic Future Watch Auto. It's a BGS 10 pristine on the card, 10 on the autograph. Let's have a look at the auto. 9.5 on the edges, the only pristine subgrade. The autograph is absolutely wonderful, which is in contrast to what we're about to see on the Crosby. Let's have a look at the Crosby. Do we have it up here? We're going to bring it up right now. The Crosby. This is the gold parallel of his Cup RPA out of 99. So this is the gold out of 87. The RPA, the true silver, is out of 99. To me, just as good as a rookie card. It's even rarer than the one out of 99. However, we got to see the back of this for a moment. Oh, so the autograph is not graded. That's good because I don't want to have another case where I got to call out that the autograph's graded a 10 when clearly it's completely, it's really faded. This is a case where this card sat in the sun for months upon months and the autograph faded. This is like when you see the ink get dark like this, it's literally been baked. I believe that's what's happened. This ink has been baked and then it fades and you can see that. So it's really sad. Not everybody cares about the autograph. A very high profile collector in the hobby told me in a group chat today, or it didn't tell me, told the group chat today that he doesn't care about fading autographs. So some people don't care about a fading autograph. I do. To me, it's a complete deal breaker. I would not buy this card for my PC. However, you should be able to get it a lot cheaper than otherwise because the autograph is faded so much. It's at $10,500 for a Crosby Cup RPA gold, almost half the price. Just over half the price of what the McDavid is. And this is out of $999. This is out of 87. I mean, not that we're comparing apples to apples here, but this gets a big premium for that BGS Pop 1 on the pristine. I'm going to stop there, Adam, and get some comments from you on all 3 cards in this row, if you'd like.
It reminds me of us talking about the Crosby last month, like it does you. The thing that I always say when you look at a card like this is There's only 87, and it really matters, right? It's a card that really matters, that collectors really want. And some of those people who really want it cannot afford one that has a bright blue autograph. I couldn't agree more with you that it's just not as good as a bright blue autograph. It's not, but it still is one of the 87. And if what you want is a Sidney Crosby gold parallel of the RPA to 87, and you only have X number of dollars to get there, it might be the best option out there for you. And so that's sort of how I look at it. It's still one of his best cards, right? Like, it's still a huge card. It's just, it doesn't fit aesthetically in your collection because and I'm like you, by the way, the autograph really matters. I've had a couple of cards, and I know I always bring it up, but the 08 limited logos LeBron that I had, like, I just loved owning it, even though it had a really bad autograph, because that was the only way I was ever going to get into it. But yeah, I'm with you on all aspects of the other cards as well.
Awesome. All right, we have a 1958 Alifa Boulanger Pele PSA 4.5 with above average eye appeal. So we got to take a look at that. We see this card every so often. It's a neat card. It's postage stamp size basically, but look at this thing. This is great. This is a nice looking copy. It has some edge wear, some corner wear.
I was gonna say this is the best one we've seen in a while for sure. We see a lot. We don't see a lot because this is like we talked about the Nagurski. This is the soccer version of the Nagurski, except for more than that, because it's like the card. But a 4.5 on this, Jeremy, is a huge deal. In fact, I'm gonna go look it up right now while we're talking about it.
Are you gonna go check the population?
Yeah,
let us know as you're doing that. Well, we already talked about the 52 tops Willie Mays, which is, outside of the centering, this thing's an absolute blazer. This thing would, I think, outside of centering has got to be like a 9. It's absolutely wonderful. I love it. I love this. And I have some off-centered cards in my collection. I'm not totally against them. They grow on you. You love them for what they are. I could see this being like that. I don't mind this copy at all, you guys. Okay, Adam, did you find the pop?
Yeah. So guess how? So remembering that this is like the card of soccer, right? Like this is truly it's the most expensive card in the history of soccer. One of the highest grade ones, sold for $1 million or close to $1 million. Guess how many total copies of this card have been graded?
100.
Yeah, so I know it's really even silly to ask that question, so forgive me. It's 156 total that have been graded, but when you dive into the population report, 6 of those are authentic, 25 are ones, 3 are ones that are qualified, 12 are 1.5. A 4.5 is one of the better copies in existence.
How many are graded higher?
So
while you do the math in your head for a second. Mid-Atlantic Collectible or Sports Cards here says this Pele is a Swedish card, came in a tin with lozenges, kind of like a tobacco card. That's it. I did not know that. I love that bit of it. Thank you, Mid-Atlantic, for sharing that with us. That's cool, Adam. You might want to remember that for a future reel you might do, because that is really cool information. I'd love to see what that lozenge package looked like. That is so cool, Mid-Atlantic. I love it. I love that piece of trivia right there. Graded higher than 4.5. Did you have that math?
Yeah, so it is higher than 4.5 is a total of 47 copies. So this is
in the top third of better than the top third of all of them. It's a great copy for sure. And then we have a Tito 06 Ty Cobb red portrait SGC 6. This is the card that's kind of atop my want list right now, along with 2 others. It's kind of a 3-way tie. And this is a great copy. Look at the centering. I always look at the bottom of the card. Like, how can you see? Sometimes the bottom of the word Cobb in Detroit are cut right off this thing. This might even be an oversized copy. I'm not sure about that, but I feel like I've rarely seen this much bottom border as well as that much top border. Any of you vintage guys in the chat, what do you think of that comment I made? Could this be oversized, which isn't a bad thing? I don't think that's a bad thing on these cards. What do you think, Adam?
It looks oversized to me too, but I'm with you. I'm not 100% confident, but I thought the same thing independently before you said it, which tells me it probably is. But does SGC build their holder around the actual card, or do they have like fits? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I could see they might be a bit. Let's go. Jordan says it might be a little bottom heavy, but Josh Adams says no, it's in line with regular T206s. So Josh knows his stuff. And I want to call out here. Zach Nygett says strange to see the Fanatics logo instead of PWCC. And I just got to say, I watched 3 episodes of Zach's podcast today, Adam, and one of them was with you, and that podcast is gonna take. I'm sorry, I forget the name of it right now. What is it called, Adam?
Is it Culture? You put me on the spot. Not Culture Collision. Double C. I can't remember now.
Tell us, Zach. Well, shout out your podcast name, Zach, because I really enjoyed it. I gotta say, I liked everything.
Hobby Hustle. It's Hobby Hustle, not Double C.
That's not the name of the channel. The name of the channel is something else. I just subscribed today. Hobby Hustle, but is that the name of the channel, Zach? That's not the name of the channel. I don't think it's Hobby Hustle, brought to you by. Anyway, check out this podcast, guys.
It's really good.
Yeah, it was great. Zach's doing a great job. Zach, I don't know if we've met. There we go.
Collector Creative. Double C and double H. I was going to get there.
Check out this YouTube channel, guys. Zach's got 4 episodes, I believe, so far. They're all interviews. More to come, I'm sure. Okay. And Zach, I don't know if we've met. I'm sorry if we have, but I look forward to seeing you at the National. Okay, because you're doing great work. Okay. There we go. Let's keep on going. We have another dual auto. This is LeBron and Kobe, followed by a LeBron and MJ. We got to open these up since we're talking about these dual autos tonight here, Adam. Let's close all this stuff. Open up these images. All right. Let's start with this one right here, Adam. This is the 0809 Upper Deck Premier head-to-head jersey auto. LeBron, Kobe, BGS 8. Corners of the weakness at 7.5, which is exactly what I want my weakness to be when I'm looking at a thicker auto mem card, because I don't want to see scuffing on the edges as much. Centering, you can't really tell half the time, so kind of who cares about that? I like a good surface. These autos are blazing still, Adam, for being almost 15 years old or over 15 years old. Now, these aren't patches, they're jerseys, but it's still, at least they're not white. Very nice. On-card autos, Adam. Some people might say that the Kobe auto coming off the card is that's kind of a bad thing. To me, that's the silliest reason to knock an auto grade, but that's just my opinion. Adam, your thoughts on this one?
UD Premier is maybe the brand that people think about the least that had the nicest cards. That's what I would say. It's a really great looking design. To get that much on one card and have it still aesthetically look as good as it does is pretty impressive. I'm with you on the autograph completely. It's one of the most overrated things in the hobby, is especially on a multi-signed card like this. Like, I just do not care that goes off, because that's an unnatural amount of space to have 2 autographs being signed. And the fact that it takes up all the space is great. Sometimes you can even tilt the card to the side a little bit and see that little bit of line on the side.
I was just thinking that. I don't mind that myself.
I don't either. I've never minded it, but people are so obsessed with the grades, and you can see this is a new Beckett holder, and so it doesn't have a PS, or it doesn't have an autograph grade with it. But I just see those two together, and I think about how linked they are because of, when Kobe passed right after LeBron passed him on the all-time scoring list, and then LeBron going and winning a championship with the Lakers that same season. It's a really cool combination.
What's going on here, Adam? We're down to 21 seconds on the clock here. So are we in the position right now where if no bid comes in on any card in the next 10 seconds, the whole auction ends? Okay, we're in the 1 minute. A bid came in. Looks like on Adam's favorite 68 tops, Willie Mays, among a couple of others. But we are in the 1 minute extended bidding windows right now, guys. What that means is that if there's no bid placed on any of the 71 items within a 1 minute period, the whole auction ends. That's what it means. But the bids are still coming in pretty fast and furious, it seems like, now that we're getting to the top of the minute again. Okay, the next one, Adam, is the 08 Premier pairing. So these are both Premiers as well. The Premier pairing, LeBron MJ. I just got, these are not sticker autos. Here's a card, Adam. Come on, look at those autographs. 15 years old, 2 nice headshots. I love the look on MJ. He's got sweat beating on his head. LeBron is nice and, he looks really young here. Number 425. Those autos are perfect, guys. Yeah. And this is a true mint plus. I know that sounds silly, but it actually makes sense. Every plus stands for one half grade on a subgrade higher than being straight nines. You got a 9.5 on edges, that's 1+, and you got a 10 on the centering, that's 2 pluses. And I mean, listen, it's just a way. I'm not saying that it's that special. I'm just saying that it's a way to communicate the subgrades with reference to the name of the grade, mint, true mint plus. I know it's crazy. Anyway, Adam, your thoughts on this one? What a card.
It's what I just said about the other one, where the branding, the fact that people don't know UD Premier like they know Exquisite, that card stacks up really well to any dual auto out of Exquisite. Like, that is a gorgeous card. It is just spot on. And if it said Exquisite on it, where it says UD Premier right there, you go ahead and mark it up twice as high or maybe more for that brand. And that, I think branding really matters, but that to me seems strange because it's not like people are putting together the set or anything. You know what I mean? Like, the card is what it is. It's two quality autographs, two great images of what a lot of people think are the two greatest players of all time, and the autographs, you couldn't have said it better, Jeremy. They're spot on. They run the length of the card, especially Jordan. Really, really nice.
Really nice. I agree with everything you said there. I see these two dual autos as like somebody could come in tonight, scoop up this pair, and they've just grabbed themselves a couple of wonderful cards at a sort of a bit of a discount, maybe because they're Premier. Don't let that hold you back, guys. That's value right there in my mind. We also have a 1921 Exhibits Babe Ruth PSA 3.5 with PWCC exceptional eye appeal, top 15%. And let's have a peek at this. Josh Adams loves it. Look at that pose. Look at that. Now, I'm personally not an oversized collector, but there's very exhibits. They're in a class of their own. This is a really cool piece. Adam, do you have any experience with exhibits?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if we've ever seen an exhibit. I can't think of one in the Premier Auction. For exhibits you saw from, I don't know when they began, but into the 1940s, maybe even after, largely oversized, a lot of times really plain on the back. I was going to look up the pop real quick on the Babe, but the thing that I like about it is that it's a playing days card, right? Like, that's is it a card? That's the question here. It didn't come out of a pack, but it's playing days and it's Ruth and it's in really nice shape. And that's an image of Ruth that we're not used to seeing, right? That's not the common Ruth image that you think of. And so, what's the pop on that? That's what I want to go look at right now. Maybe some people don't care, but I do care about that.
Do you want the serial number?
Yeah, I'll go look it up. You keep going.
Okay, let's have a look at some more cards. We've got a 1984 Panini F1 scratch and play Ayrton Senna PSA 7. I feel like I haven't seen this also in a Premier. This thing looks cool. What is it? Is it acetate? Or what? It's laminated or something like that. I don't know what this is, guys, but this is really neat. Let's have a look at the back. That might give us some hint. Yeah, this is like this is acetate. Or this is so cool. Pop 3, none graded higher. That's a cool looking piece right there, guys. I've never seen it before and I love it. I'd like to see cards made today that kind of come out of the pack looking like this. Okay, we do have some knowledge coming out on the exhibit here. I'm seeing in the chat, guys. Sorry, I haven't got to these yet. And thank you, Zach. We have not met in person, but we will at the National for sure. Make sure we do. Let's make sure we do. Will says, is that the red Acuna? Don't know. 90s. Yes, it was from a vending machine. Josh, are you talking about the Senna or are you talking about the exhibit? He says vending machine, or Let's Go Jordan says vending machine makes it more cool. Thanks for dropping knowledge for sure. Okay, we have another 58 Afila Bolliger Palais. This is a PSA 4. two of them. So we have the PSA 4 down here and the 4.5 up here. The 4.5 is at 24,500. So is the 4 because it's got exceptional eye appeal, which is crazy. Let's have a look at this copy. Yeah, it's nice too, but for some reason I remember liking the earlier 4.5 better, which maybe is fair. It's graded higher. And then we have a Patrick Mahomes 2017 Red Prism Power jersey numbered 15/49 for $97.50 as we sit right now. Stale Prod says that Red Power Mahomes is nice. Just hate the print line. Oh, I guess there's a print. Oh, is that what's going across it? I didn't even notice that in the small pic. Is this the print line right here? Something is off right there. That's got to be what you're talking about, Stale. Yeah. It's got to be, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just where the pattern, the checkerboard pattern, like once you see it, it sort of stands out, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. That's definitely a blemish on the card for me as well.
That's why it's an 8. That's I'm sure the rest of the card's probably fine. That's why it would get downgraded 2 notches probably.
Makes sense for sure. Okay, 86 star MJ. It says rookie here. I don't think that's accurate. I would not consider this to be a rookie card. Is this an over? No, and it's autographed too. Whoa, I didn't see that at first. Look at this. 86 Michael Jordan, number 10, the future. This is such a great card, guys. Look at the image here. It's almost like it's it's a few frames after the image on his rookie card. And I feel like we've heard before that the star and the 86 Fleer, like were some star cards in the 86 Fleer. Maybe this was taken from the same game. The image, I feel like I've heard that, but I don't know for sure.
So the Star 101 and the 86 Fleer, he's playing against the Nets. It's believed actually that they're from different games, but there's been some sort of speculation on that. You have to study the shoes in another image that the Fleer comes from and the crowd exactly. But I'll tell you what's cool about this one. People haven't heard of the future probably, and it's because this is from a 10 card MJ only set that 1985-86 Star made. That has this really cool, like 10 great images of Jordan. This is definitely one of the best ones. It's the last one, but obviously the reason that this one's in Premier is because of the autograph. That autograph is really, really strong on that card. I wish that the card was graded, and I know that not other people don't care about that, but I personally would like to see the autograph and the card grade on this. I know how you feel about autograph grades, Jeremy, but on its own, the way that it is, it's a rookie era, same year as the 86 Fleer. I like you would not have called it a rookie personally, but rookie era card. It's really cool.
The card is, and I would like, I don't need a grade on the auto, but I would like a grade on the card. I'd just like to know what, it would be assessed at. To me, this looks to be about a 6. The centering's great, but it does have some corner issues, right there. That's pretty serious right there. Maybe a 6.5, maybe a 6. It's got a bit of a blemish right there. I think this grades out a 6.
What is that blemish that you were just looking at? Was that ink from the pen, or was that?
No, well, maybe, but only if he dropped it as after he finished, because there's no connection there. Yeah. So it has registration issue too. It's a little, you can see over on the white borders here, there's a little bit of a registration issue.
But the autograph, like, this is what I'd love to see. I'd love to know when that autograph is from, because it's got a lot of detail in it. That's a really cool Jordan autograph.
It is a cool Jordan auto. Okay, 51 Bowman Mickey Mantle rookie card, his one and only true rookie card, PSA 5. Good copy for a 5, but it's got issues. Obviously the centering, it's high, it's a bit to the right. It's got corner issues, especially the top left here. You can see the cardstock starting to poke through, but the corner itself is sharp. Top edge, I like it. It's got some fray. That's okay. Hey, fray can be okay, guys. Take that to the rhyme bank. Left edge is nice. Bottom edge, fray. Bottom left corner, it's good. It's not great. Bottom right corner seems to be, it's got a bit of a ding there. Not serious. Top right corner is really good, I would say. Bit of a hairline right there in the name bar. But the thing that bothers me most about the card is the registration. And you can see this kind of magenta shadow coming off the top of the ball cap. You also see it really clearly here on the top of the bat. Comes all the way down the bat, right? Look at that. I don't like that. That to me would I own a copy of this card, and I would not want it if it had this registration issue. That's just me. I would wait for a different copy. You see it right there as well. You zoom out. Now this card is not easily found well centered. You really have to be patient. The centering isn't horrible. It could be worse, but it's definitely off center. I'm thinking top to bottom, you're looking at 80-20, side to side, 70-30, that kind of thing. It's certainly up and to the right, and it has the registration, but I think it's appropriately graded as a 5. I can't poke at the grade here assessed by PSA. Let's Go Jordan says hates the centering on the Mantle. James Wynn says lovely 51 Mantle. Yeah, I like the card, and when you zoom out, you don't notice the registration as much, but I don't zoom out on cards. I zoom in on them. So I gotta call it as I see it. Adam, any thoughts on the Mantle?
No, man, I think you covered it really well.
Okay, Buster Posey, 2008, Chrome, Bowman Chrome, red refractor. We got to have a look at the autograph. I love looking at the autos on Topps and Bowmans because, as I've been saying for months and months and months, their autos look great, and this is no exception. That there's something about the coating on these cards and the ink they use that they just mesh. They like each other. Nice looking card, BGS 9.5. I'm seeing, I don't know if these are scuffs on the card or the surface or the slab. Beckett slabs are very scuffable. It could be that, but I can't tell you what that is. I just don't know. Looks like you got a little bit of a hair right there. I don't know if that's in the slab or a scratch on the slab or on top of it. Tough to say. So, proceed accordingly. It's graded a BGS 9.5 if you want to rely on that with a 10 auto. I certainly agree with the 10 auto. Nice looking card right there. Oh, yeah. David's not wrong. He says, Adam's falling asleep talking about baseball cards.
I looked down at my phone for 2 minutes of a 3-hour thing, and that's when David Ratliff joins us and goes all Pepto-Bismol.
I know, right?
You knew it was going to happen. He didn't say anything the whole show. I looked down for 2 seconds, and David,
he's got impeccable timing. All right, 2004 Mega Cracks, Lionel Messi, BGS 9.5. That's a big grade on this card. It's got 3 9.5s, 9 on surface. The card looks great. I'm gonna look for a surface issue. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think I'm seeing any, but I'm not completely familiar with this card. I see a little white dot there. I don't know what it is. Corners and edges are great. Centering looks perfect to me, but it might not be. But it gets 9.5 from Beckett, so we'll rely on that. Great card right there, Adam. 2020 NTRPA Joe Burrow, numbered out of 99. Nice patch on this. Nice 3-color piece. It's a 12,000 right now. I love the patch actually because I love these curves in the stitching and on the border of the orange, as well as the border between the red and the black, the orange and the black. Color match with the card. Great auto also. Slabbed authentic. No idea why.
That's
the
weird.
auto, at first glance, it looked perfect. And then I zoomed in. I realized, well, wait, I couldn't even see this part of the J here because it was so light. That's not fading. That's just the way he signed it. Right. He just kind of let up as he came down here. Then he pushed down again when he came up. I believe that's what's going on right there. And Mid-Atlantic says that Messi is incredible, so hard to find in high grade. And yeah, I was, kind of thinking the same thing there. Mid, appreciate the comment.
Can we look at the Burrow for a second and try to figure out why? Like, I'm not a big grade guy, but like the fact that this one's in an authentic holder makes me go, really? Like,
no, it's right here, Adam. It's right. There's a tear in the patch window. I see it very clearly now, guys.
Right. Yeah.
There's 2 of them. There's a rip right there, and there's a rip right there. This card, because of that, should grade off. It's like a pinhole almost. I don't even think it should grade a 1 at that point. So there you have it. I'm glad we saw that, I have to say, because you might not have. But there are 2 little rips in
So
that card.
remember we were talking a few minutes ago about not the Connor McDavid, the Sidney Crosby. This is exactly that case to me, because it's like, this is going to be the lowest dollar Joe Burrow at a 99 that exists. And so
Yeah.
if you can't afford the big one, but that's the card that you want, then here you go. It gives you a chance to get it. But again, some people don't need, most people don't need the National Treasures Joe Burrow. But if you do, and you need it, and you only have a certain amount of money to spend for it, this might be the best chance you ever get this card.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'll leave it at that. I mean, but I can't leave it. I just have to say what I would do. I would just find a substitute Burrow card, whether it's a parallel, maybe it's a horizontal from NT, or maybe it's something completely different. That's what I would do. Elior wants to know if I was at the Montreal card. Yeah, I sure as heck was, Elior. Did we meet there? If we did, very nice to see you again. And Stadium says, agree with a messy comment. Long term, you have to have a high grade Mega Cracks rookie of the GOAT or Monday Chroma Liga. Thank you, Stadium. And then we love these champ PMGs. At least that's what they're called in basketball. Here is just a Metal Universe PMG A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, 1998 PSA 8. We're at $8,500. Adam, I love the scope pattern. These are just such cool cards in hand. One of your best cards in your whole collection is the MJ of this card. Based on that, give us your thoughts on how you like the looks of this piece.
Well, what I like about baseball a lot more than I do in basketball is it's the first PMG set, right? So, and people often forget that when they come from the basketball background. This is Alex Rodriguez's first PMG. And so if that matters to you, that there is no red and green in baseball, then I think it's really cool. I don't know what this background is, but I do like the colors. What is that to his bottom left? What am I seeing there?
It looks like some wood on a beach or something. Rocks on a beach.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, Adam. Yeah, it's a beach. It's like a lake scene or something, because it looks like there's water and then trees across the way or something.
Can you do the video on that one?
Yeah, good idea.
That one might be a good one for a video.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that view. Look at how cool these cards are, guys. This is what you can't see in a 2D picture. Look at that thing, how it just rotates. Your Willie Mays 51 Bowman Auto just got a bid up to 18.5, and Mike Trout's up to 12K, 12,250 now. When we were looking at it, what was it at, like 7,700 or something?
Yep.
It's moved up. All right. Great looking card right there. Ready to continue?
Let's do it.
Couple of NTRPAs here. We got an Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man. This is a BGS 9 with a 10 auto at 30K. And the Luka, pick up this pair tonight if these are cards you need, guys. Also a BGS 8.5 10 auto. Let's just have a look at these autos. You know we got to look at the autos, guys. Let's open up that image and open up this image. All right, there's the Ant-Man. Nice patch. All sorts of action going on. We have the O and the T from Minnesota right there. Autograph looks great. Slight fade right there. Not fade, but maybe just a lift right there. Numbered 499. True RPA. True Mint plus. You get 2 extra half subgrades on the centering. And then we have the Luka. I love this patch, Adam. Look at this patch for a Luka. 8.5. But look at this, guys. 9995. Surface is the 8. The hardest thing to probably spot the issue with in 2D. So I can't tell you what it is, but that auto is absolutely... It's as good as a Luka auto can get as far as how he signs his name. Really, but look at that patch. You got the point coming out here. The blue, the white, the blue and the mesh, the gray. Great card, Adam. I want to put it over to you to talk about these two.
So you're really talking about maybe the guy who's like the two guys who could be the next face of the NBA. And some people would say Luka's already that guy, and maybe he is, but it still feels like it's been LeBron's league. This year they played each other in the playoffs, and Luka got the best of Minnesota with Anthony Edwards. I don't know how to feel about the Luka because he's had so much success, but hasn't been able to really like break through. Like he's had so much like personal accomplishments, but you guys all sort of know the story on that. This is the classic NT rookie card at a 99. And to some people, that's like really what you want, the best of the best. And so, it's interesting to me that Ant's 3/4 of the cost of Luka. I would have thought it was not quite that close. What's the grade? Is the Ant a 9 and the Luka's an 8.5?
Correct.
It's interesting. Which, I mean, I would think you would rather have the Luka by quite a bit out of these two cards. Am I right?
Yes. I'm gonna go with yes.
I would much rather have the Luka, like maybe twice as much. Like if you put 2 of the Ants in front of me or 1 of the Luka, I think.
But that's what we say. That's what we say today. I mean, Luka's clearly kind of got a leg up on Ant-Man up to this point. But what happens next year and the year after? Is Anthony Edwards gonna be the best player in the NBA? Like, is he gonna be up there in the discussions with, the top guys, the top? Well, yeah, Luka, Wembanyama, these guys. Is he going to be up there in that? Is that going to be like the trio of the top young players in the SGA? Like, there's a few other guys, but it seems to me from what I hear that this guy is on the trajectory to be in that that upper tier echelon. Vintage says he's taken Ant over crybaby Luka all day. That's a knock against Luka. I mean, everyone says that.
I like Minnesota a lot. They're the team that I was cheering for in the playoffs. I like Anthony Edwards a lot more than Luka. Luka definitely cries way too much. But like Ant was good this year because he had 3 really great bigs with him, right? I mean, he was on the number 1 defensive team in the NBA. Minnesota was 16th overall on offense and number 1 in defense, which tells you why they were good, right? And although Anthony Edwards is a part of the defense, like you don't become one of the most popular players in the league because of your defense. Luka and everything about him to this point says he's definitely going to be like this, one of the best offensive players in the league for the next decade. And Ant has yet to prove that. Like he's good and he has this trajectory and he reminds us of Jordan, but like for him to sell for 3/4 the amount of Luka, to me, that seems high, but I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in that.
I hear you. I feel like the hobby is moving Ant-Man up and up, closer and closer to Luka. Like over the past 10 months, he's just inched his way closer. So I'm not that surprised. Okay, a couple comments here though. First of all, Elior, great to see you again. Thank you for jumping in and saying hello. Josh says baseball PMG champs usually have a background related to the team or city. That makes sense. Thank you, Josh. Jason Newman says Anthony Edwards wasn't the reason they beat the Nuggets. Luka is always the reason his team wins. That's a strong comment right there. Will says next face of the league is Brawny, but that's the Zagreb league, which I just had to look up is the capital of Croatia because I did not know that. So thank you for that. Will says Adam agreed. No way I'm paying 3/4 Luka prices for Ant-Man. Way too many questions on that dude. And that's a thing. That's the other thing. Like I said, we don't know what he's going to do over the next couple of years, but that might have just been the hottest streak of his career he's had. You just never know, but time will tell. Okay, let's see. We got 14 seconds in this particular minute window. We're getting down there, guys. If a bid doesn't come in here in the next 7 seconds, the whole auction will be over. We're down to 4 seconds, 3, 2, and a bid came in. Willie Mays, Mike Trout, both save the day. Okay, Adam, 2007 exquisite number pieces, LeBron James. Let's open this one up. Ooh, I just noticed this patch here is 2-color. You got a bit of gold in the bottom right, and that's enough to be a legit 2-color patch right there. This one is 1 color. It's obviously not a strong 2-color, but it's a 2-color nonetheless. Nice looking card, 15/23. Auto is great right over here. A little bit lighter in the big loop, but still a strong auto overall. The auto grade's a 10, which, okay, fair enough. I'm not gonna say it isn't because I don't understand autograph grading. It's just so weird. But it's a 10/10, which some people will just will attribute value to this card because of what the slab says there, 10/10. Adam, what are your thoughts on this and all that?
Your last point is something that I didn't notice the first few times I looked at it. And then when I realized that, I went, oh. As far as the number pieces set goes, if I'm being really, really honest, I think this is my least favorite of the LeBron number pieces. But here's the thing. it's still a LeBron numbers piece, and there's not very many of those. And so, although I've sort of got this thing in my mind that it's my least favorite of it, then you look at it and you go, what is it? Right? It's a patch autograph numbered to the jersey number of one of the most collected people in the hobby. And that 1010, I think, like you said, it may not be the thing that appeals most to you, but it definitely appeals in terms of what it sells for. I actually, once I noticed that, thought it would sell for quite a bit more than this. So I think it's lower than what I would have expected given its grade.
At 42K. Okay. Well, good to know. You would have a pretty, well-formed opinion on that. Very quickly, Elier, I will be at the National in Cleveland, and this is for everybody. I'll be at the National in Cleveland. I will be at Fanatics Fest in New York. I will be at the Expo in Toronto. I will be at the Van City Card Show in Vancouver. All these things over the next few months. Hope to see and meet many people there. Zach wants to know, did they ever make PMGs for baseball or just basketball and football? I believe just basketball and football as far as the emeralds and the rubies go.
Yeah, these cards are called PMGs straight up. They're not called championship, Zach. That's just the precious metals. But since Zach is a baseball guy, he's thinking, well, the red and the greens, that's the precious metals, and then this thing is the championship. In baseball, it's not called championship. It's just precious metals from Metal Universe, and it's the very first of those in baseball.
Yeah. Couple of really nice vintage pieces here from the early 1900s. We have a E92 Dockman & Sons Honus Wagner, 2 Honus Wagners here, a PSA 4.5, and an M116 Sporting Life Pastel Honus Wagner, PSA 2. We got to look at these, Adam. We just gotta. We're going to close all this other stuff here. Oh, my goodness. Look at these cards. Would you rather? Here's the time, Adam. Oh, yes. Dusty forever, says Josh. He says the throwing version is tougher than the batting version of the E92. Would you rather? Well, this is a PSA 4.5. This card looks great. It has a registration issue. You can see that this black thin line should be right at the edge of the ball cap there, I think. Maybe not, though, because the ear looks right. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But you also see this yellow coming down here and here. Listen, this is 1909, guys. They weren't making these for value. They were making them to sell cigarettes. This is a great looking card. And then you got this pastel, the Sporting Life M116 from 1911, PSA 2. The choice is easy for me, Adam, which one I prefer. And the grade doesn't even matter. These are nice cards in their low grades. Which one do you rather? The E92 or the M116?
The M116.
Oh, see, I'm the E92. I'm the E92. I love the looks of this thing.
Look, I love both of them. I love both of them, but when I think of Wagner, I like that image, right? Like that's the image that we all know and love. It's just adjusted for the T206. And so for me, it's like, I own a Wagner. It's a Wagner. It's the right image. This, I have to look down and see what his name is.
Fair enough. I totally get it. I get it. This to me though, this is like, oh, I just love it. I love the looks of this. What's it selling? What's it at right now? 15,011. This would probably, like, I'm not that familiar with this, but to be honest, this would become a card on my want list if I didn't already own a Honus Wagner from this era, which I do. So I don't need a second Honus Wagner. I got other names to knock off the list. I love this card though, but I totally understand where Adam's coming from, that the familiarity of this image, it makes it very desirable too. Such cool cards, both of them. And then a Jordan Love Contenders Cracked Ice rookie auto ticket out of 22 with his patented J Hart autograph. Great looking card right there. PSA 10. Great auto.
This is another one to look in the video real quick, just because the Cracked Ice, I'm telling you, man.
Oh, look at that. He's right. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, this is a beautiful card. Vintage card collector he's got a this or that for us, Adam. Or would you rather Honus or Jordan Love for the same price? What are you going with, Adam?
He knows my answer. It's
Honus.
it's the Wagner for sure.
Yeah, me too. I mean, without a doubt. But Jordan Love, I think is one of the and I only say, listen, I don't give investment advice ever, but I will say that because I've got a buddy who's just a huge NFL diehard, has been for years, and he tells me Jordan Love's going to be, good. So, but that's just one guy's opinion, of course. Okay. Another Honus. This is the E106. Is this the same? Look at that. The same image, but a different brand. And this one is pretty messed up for a 1.5, but it still looks good. But you can see staining and rounded, nice uniform. I call these guys, when you see corners like this, where you're not even sure if a corner ever really existed. I call those sexy corners, guys. This is what you call sexy corners right here, because they got those curves on them. I like the corners. You got a big crease going right through there, almost a bit of a rip on the end, crease coming through here, and it's just discolored. If we put that one next to this one,
are we done?
I mean, huh?
Are we done?
I thought a bid just came in. Sold. The auction's over.
Yep.
The auction's over, you guys. The auction is over. But okay, that's fine. But we just gotta put these two next to each other again. Look at that. It is the same. Is it the same? It's the same image. This one has better registration. Look at that. You can tell. Anyway, cool cards. So cool. Okay. Let's see. Where were we? Oh gosh, I was way up there. Okay, we didn't miss much, guys. Just Pokemon boxes, which we wouldn't have talked about anyway. All Pokemon. We wouldn't have even talked about it anyway. So we got through just about it. We just missed a few on the end there. Just these bottom 6. And we talked about that one anyway. We missed the triple logo man here, which was one of your favorites, Adam. The Emmitt Smith Rubies was a big card. The second year, first solo card, Larry Bird does 18,000. We had a Honus do 70. Honus Silver did a 78. Trout X-Fractor, 7,350. The 9,300 on the printing plate. 9,300 on the Emmitt Smith. 60K on the triple logo man. And the auction's over. The auction's over, Adam. Before you jump in, I just want to see actually we got to go through sales prices, okay? But first, Josh says candy companies use the same image with different backs. Let's go, Jordan. Love that 1.5. Yeah, see, I did too. I love that too. It's got sexy corners. Not every card has, we need a new qualifier, SC, sexy corners. All right. And Elior asks, any hockey? There were a couple hockey cards. We'll get to them as sold now. The Lotus sells for 186. The Jordan limited logos does 99. The PSA 10 Jordan rookie does 192, 120. So we didn't get any further bids on many of these. The Henderson in extended bidding. The Henderson does 120, 52.8 on the Mantle, 52 tops, 57.6 on the Acuna Bowman Red Refractor out of 5. Black Lotus 37. The Halliburton does 30.6, 28K almost on the Brady. This one went up. I think when we looked at it, it was about $17,000, Adam. So that one jumped. The Jordan Final Floor does 50.4. The Pujols does 63K. That thing more than doubled in extended. And the PSA 10 Willie Mays from 1968 does 34.8. Joe Burrow 35, 16.5. So this thing doubled and then some. The Mike Trout 2012 silver prism or gold prism. Jordan BGS 9586 Fleer does 30.6, and the PSA 9 does 16.2. The Gretzky rookie PSA 8 does 15.3, and the Kobe Bryant does 17.4. We got the diamond cut Lou Alcindor does 18.6, and the Bronco Nagurski 16.8. These cards, the Broncos, every time they sell, it's just more and more. Like these things it's like the Honus Wagner. They only go up like the T206. They only go up in value every time they sell. Adam, you want to jump in with something?
Yeah, 16.8 for a 1's a really strong number.
Yeah, but it is a nice 1. So for sure. The dual autos, let's see, 28.2 on the 1 of 1 sticker autos, but still a phenomenal card. 13.8 on the trilogy. We have the Luca Flawless Green does 13.2. The Luca Exquisite Tribute does 8,700. Shohei does 16.8. This beautiful, beautiful Babe Ruth 33 Gaudy does 38.4. Connor McDavid pristine 10 card 10 auto SPA Future Watch auto 27.6. And the faded auto Crosby Gold Cup RPA does 12.6, which I think is where it should be. So that makes sense to me. 29.4 on the Pelé, 17.1 on the 52 Tops Willie, 12,000 on the T206 Ty Cobb, 17.4 on LeBron Kobe duel, 21 on LeBron Kobe or Jordan LeBron duel here, both premieres. Adam and I kind of felt, and I think we'd still agree, Adam, these might have been two of the best value buys tonight for what they are. Like this, you know. Ruth Exhibits does 14.4. I'm going to scroll through the rest, guys. I'll call it a couple. The Jordan Auto on the 86 Star does 12.6. The Mantle Rookie 22.8. The Off-Centered 5. 18.9 on the Messi Mega Cracks 9.5. A-Rod does 10.2. The Joe Burrow with the 2 rips in the patch window does 14.4. 36 on Ant-Man. 48 on Luca. 50.4 on the numbers pieces LeBron. And so on, and 42,000.
Hey, I think you were right. Can we sort those mazes and see if the community agreed with you? I think you got it. You got it closer than I did for sure.
Yeah, let's do that. Sure.
I should say the community valued it like you did.
The bidders really, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Where's the other two?
Just search maze real quick.
I'm gonna scroll.
But then you can't see them right next to each other.
Okay, you talked me into it. You you're so smart. Okay. So the top seller was my favorite. Okay. I'm 1 for 1 there. I went this card, then this card, then this card, then this card. So the only one I got right, Adam, or the only one that I agreed where the bidders agreed was the top seller.
So you went 1-4-3-2, and I went 3-2-3-2. Never mind. It doesn't matter. We both were. It was not what we thought or what we expected. It was not what we thought, but it sort of makes sense. Honestly, like I remember. Do you remember the 53 that went absolutely bananas like a year and a half ago? Like
I think so.
Went so totally incredibly high. And what that taught me then was that if you have a really high end 53, people really recognize that as like a big time card. And so I'm not shocked to see it go high. It is a little surprising to see it go for twice as much as the 752, but that centering got that. I'm just surprised the autograph wasn't higher.
I think the card hurt it a little bit, and I think the recent auto hurt it a little bit. And I saw some. I think you and I are in a common chat, and I think in that chat there might have been some discussion about the fact that the auto wasn't or was just a modern Willie Mays auto, not a
Yes.
So if this was like, vintage ballpoint, I think you're talking a different number there. I think that would have appealed to a lot more people. Good. But
that makes sense to me. But the other thing I want to point out is that 68 did really rally, and it went. I mean, that's a big number on that card, and I'm not surprised about that because again, it's one of the 70 PSA 10 original Mays Topps cards in existence, and even though 68's a pop 13, as Let's Go Jordan says, like. There's only so many PSA 10 mazes, and to be able to just say I own one of those is a really cool thing.
Yeah, this card's value. I would say, and I don't know what this card sells for on say a 7 or a 6, but I have to assume that much of the, more than half of this number, even I would say almost 90%, I'm guessing 90% of this value comes from the grade, which is fine. It's a super tough card. you know, again, as Let's Go Jordan said, it's a pop 13. Only 13 people. Let me rephrase this, Adam. I believe this price is driven by the PSA set registry. That I think is what did it. So it's a flex. It's more of a flex than it is, you know, I got to have this card. It's that is such a competitive space. So whereas this is just a blazer of a card, and I absolutely love it. This is like a grail for me. And I know there's a million of these out there, maybe not a million. There's thousands of these out there, but in this condition, the 53 tops, looking as a blazer like this, that's a grail condition card. I don't care what the slab says. I'm glad it's not higher. Like I would pay. Like what I'm trying to say is that this card could have been graded a 6, and I'd still think it's worth $42,000 based on how it looks.
Joe mentioned that he liked the Mays conversation on this show today. That's been my favorite part of the conversation. And we're just so everybody knows in the chat, Jeremy and I are always talking about ways to make this more interactive and fun, because we're both aware that whenever the chat is strong, the auction is better. So if you guys ever have something like that, like a really good would you rather or something that you'd like for us to do here on the show, please mention it, because we're always open to it. But I like the conversation around the mazes, because I think it's you could have said you like the 52 most, and I would have said that's a great call. You know, even though it sold for less than half of the 53, I would have thought that was a great take, and that just shows the diversity in the auction.
I was just asked on my Vintage Spotlight podcast. I like to invite everybody to check out the Vintage Spotlight YouTube channel and podcast. It's another podcast that Leighton Sheldon and I started up. We've done 3 episodes. Episode 3 actually drops tomorrow on podcast, and Saturday on the Vintage Spotlight YouTube channel. And we did a mailbag question, and one of the mailbag questions was, what is the most underrated vintage set? And I said 53 Topps baseball, because everyone talks about 52. They kind of forget about, not everyone. People who know. I get that. I know a lot of you guys know this, so please don't think that I was, not giving you credit for that. I certainly do, but I still think that so much attention, and value is put on 52 Topps Mantle, Mays, and Jackie, along with a few other cards and the whole set, really, that the 53 has taken like a back seat and just isn't as recognized for as beautiful as it is. And I got to tell you, the 53 Mickey Mantle is as beautiful as the 52, in my opinion. Whereas the 53 Mays is way more beautiful than the 52 Mays, in my opinion. And the Jackies are kind of the same for me. I love the 52, though, I will say. But the 53 is gorgeous as well. That
color on the 52 Mays is really nice, though. I hear you, though. Purple? I hear you, because it's a great image of Mays, but I do like the color on the 52.
See, the color, I love that you love it. The color on this card is one thing that I never loved. I think it's grown on me over the years, but it's kind of like this deep purple, kind of a deep purple kind of color.
So you don't like that?
I don't dislike it, but I would like it more if it was if you saw sky and trees, if you saw something a bit different back there, or you saw just a brighter color, it's a little dark in the background, I prefer it to be a little brighter. That's it. Yeah. Let's see a couple comments here. Yep. Joe Perot likes the Mays. I thank you, Joe. Let's Go Jordan says the value on the 68 Mays totally comes from the grade. I think I have 2 of the 68 Mays in worse grades, but worth way less. Yeah. Probably like 80% less is my guess, but I don't know what grades you have. Let's Go Jordan pays a compliment to the Vintage Spotlight podcast. Thank you. Let's Go Jordan says it is excellent. And again, guys, please go check it out. It's its own YouTube channel, Vintage Spotlight. Love for you to subscribe and check it out. And he also says, Let's Go Jordan says, I collect the Burdick collection, and there are both 53 Topps Mays and Robinson. Ironically, just sold a 52 Willie Mays. All right. And I want to just, underscore what Adam just said, guys. We're always happy to entertain your questions, as we do, your comments. If you want to throw a game at us, these would you rathers are fun. Especially when they don't even really, I think Vintage gave us one tonight. So thank you for that. And continue to do that, guys. Adam, you ready to wrap up?
I am. I'm just looking at some of these prices. When you look back at this auction next month or next week or whatever, what's going to be the card that you remember? What is like the part of the auction that you think about?
The Bronco and the 53 Mays. I mean, those two cards. I mean, I like that one. The dual sticker auto was I can't believe I love the looks of that card. But oh wait, let's just get out of here and sort by highest price as we're just finishing up and chatting. For me, the Ricky Henderson's a great card too, but I don't need a 10. I'll be happy with a really well centered 8 one day. For me, it's gonna be this card is the star of the show for me. That to me is just an absolute grail in that condition. In that condition, not the grade, you guys, not the slab, not the grade, in that condition. I don't care what the numerical grade is. That's a grail for me. And then secondly would be, I also love this Larry Bird. I got to get a copy. I don't have a copy of that anymore. The Bronco Nagurski. Those are the two. Those are the two, Adam.
I think of the,
how about you?
I think of the limited logos. I wondered if it would get to 100 grand. It got just below that.
99.
To me, that was the card of the auction that was like, if there's a card that I wanted for my collection, it's not, when I do the top 10, it's like, okay, what appeals to me the most? That's different because of cost, right? But the plate or the limited logos is just a fantastic example, and 99 grand on that card. I mean, there's not much in the world of Jordan autographs that you want more than that one. So
yeah.
And then the triple logo man that's right there. I'm not a huge fan of triple logo men where they don't have autographs, because triple logo men never have autographs. But these three together are part of, maybe the greatest championship team of all time. And I don't know if they have another triple logo man of those three, but if they don't, to me, when you think about all the other triple logo men we've seen, like that actually seems like a pretty good price. I don't know.
For sure. A couple comments here. Mike Nunya, thank you for telling us. Great show, Mike. Appreciate you every time. Mid-Atlantic, I love this comment. He says, you could buy more than 60 PS. You got me, Adam?
You went away for like 15 seconds. Sorry.
No worries. So did you hear me read this comment out loud?
I didn't. Sorry.
Okay. First of all, if you didn't hear that, thank you to Mike Nunya for saying great show. And then Mid-Atlantic here says you can buy more than 60 PSA 9 Ricky Hendersons for the price of one PSA 10. And you know what the kicker there is that I bet you several 9s are nicer than some of those 10s. So give me a PSA 9 Ricky Henderson and $118,000 to go spend elsewhere, for me anyway. Zach, appreciate the comments. As awesome job, gents. Have a great night. You too, Zach. Signed and slabbed. He was sleeping because you keep talking about baseball. Fair enough.
My internet was slow for a second.
That was mine, not yours.
Oh, that was yours. Okay. I was like, I don't know what I did. I'm just sitting here. I can't hear you. So
all right, guys. Adam, thank you as always. Again, everybody. Yeah, Will Sports. Yeah, same thing. I've taken 9. Thank you to everybody in the chat, as always. Thank you to Fanatics Collect for continuing to, do what they're doing and running these premieres and weeklies, and their new buy now platform. They have new fees. Check it all out, guys. Great progress, I would say, from the old PWCC to the new Fanatics Collect. I will be at the National. If you see me, please say hello. I will be dropping by Fanatics Collect to see the team there. So anyone from there, look forward to meeting you if you are watching right now. Mid-Atlantic says he did not just call the Cavs the greatest championship team of all time. Adam, would you like to respond to that?
I said it's the greatest championship. It is the greatest championship that I've seen, and I'm not even a LeBron guy, but beating the 73-win Golden State Warriors to me is the most memorable championship. You could say, well, it's the last of Jordan's championships, or the first of Jordan championships, or any number of ones, but the one that was the most surprising to me and it was like the most impressive was LeBron's Cleveland championship. Yeah, it is.
All right. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. So thank you again. Thank you again, everybody. National right around the corner. We'll see a bunch of you there. Adam, thank you. Thanks to the chat. And with that, everybody, this first episode, Signed and Slabbed. Yes, we will walk together for sure, David.
I'll walk with both of you too. It'll be fun.
I appreciate that, David. Guys, with that, this 39th episode of the premiere, but the first episode of the Fanatics Collect Premier Auction ended. This first episode of the Fanatics Collect Premier Auction Extended Bidding Watch Party is now over.